No, you can't hear me. Hi. Hi, everybody. It's Ray. It's Life and Vibe. And I have been rushing around to try to get myself on camera today. So, let me try to pull up the comments. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I've been rushing around. Hi. I'm trying to go back live again. You can see I'm still scarred. So it looks like I have an extra nostril. And I'm braving it back because people the other day told me I didn't look very well. So I have been rushing around. Oh, goodness, you can still see part of the sheet there for the dog. Trying to get ready. So, hi. Look at me. I'm on camera again. Oh, my goodness. I wanted to try to at least put some lipstick on, and I don't even know how to look at a camera anymore. So, hi. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading the chat. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Let me make sure everything. Hey, Eloise, I'm so glad that you're here. I was thinking that either I get you on stage with me to answer this, or I might pull up some of your God, why is it always the side I don't want my nose to be seen? Oh, why am I picking the side I don't want people to see? Anyway, I'm glad you're here because this is going to be an interesting conversation. I apologize for my scar, everybody. I just can't put makeup on it. And I always tend to want to show the side with the scar because I don't tend to look. My chat's over here, not over here, unfortunately. So, yeah. Hi, Rosebud. Glad you're here. You're working? Well, I'm trying to work too. Hi, Angel of Glass. Come on in. I'm so glad you're here. I am going to try to open up Nightbot so that if you are wanting to join the community, then you will have the link to do so. Though I know Angel of Glass is really good at dropping that in as well. I'm going to try to maybe make the timer less frequent. So let me try to increase the interval to like every 30 minutes. Apologies for this. Like I said, I've been very busy today. I'm sure everybody else has been very busy today too, since it is a Monday. And I really wanted to come out and have an opportunity to cover this topic. I'm so glad you're here, Louise. You're around for an hour, then you're off swimming. Well, let's get into the Ozempic real quick then. Let's talk about the weight loss drugs real fast and get your a thought on this. Because I had a very interesting conversation this morning with somebody who was prescribed Wegovy for being pre-diabetic, weight loss and management, and also being a female in menopause. And so it's really important for that demographic to be able to access, because sometimes the symptoms of menopause and the hormonal changes can also increase our susceptibility to things such as prediabetes, weight gain, and many of these other disorders. And it obviously is coming through at a certain time in life. And obviously, because menopause, the way it affects women more than men, again, like we talked about with the lipedema, there's such little research into these topics. And this lady was telling me on the phone today that she is heartbroken because she cannot get her prescribed Wegovy medication because it is being used so much by places like med spas and giving it for weight loss. And I don't think Amberlynn Reid has insurance here in the United States. So I'm very curious to see about her being recommended by a doctor and them being okay with her getting it through a med spa, and then Ozempic, because I don't think Ozempic is really the medication that would give her the weight loss. So here in the United States, it's only FDA approved for diabetes type 2. And I think Eloise could probably, talk to that. And if you have to kick off, Eloise, then we will. Okay, I've heard about US compounded generics. These aren't available in the UK currently, although I know counterfeit compound ones exist as well. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of counterfeit out there. And the MHRA have put out warnings. Yeah, there's a lot of counterfeit. TikTok is rife with that stuff, people. Be very cautious. Even caution with going to a med spa. It's just caution. There's so much going on. Hey, wait, Marie. Oh, holiday in Canada? Is it Canada Day? I'm so sorry. I keep showing everybody my scar side. Look, I even tried to do my hair all pretty today. I didn't get a chance to do the eyebrows and a little makeup under the eyes. And I don't know what's going on with my lighting, obviously. I need to set up a studio. My hair looks cute. Well, thank you. Well, no, I actually have a scar. The problem is it's not that. From where I had my infection, it's caused a slight scar over the top of one of my nostrils, making it look like I have 3 nostrils. So I'm catching up with my surgeon this week. So hopefully he can help me with that. Perimenopause can just be just as crazy. Yes, she's in perimenopause, she told me. It's awful. Perimenopause is wild. You think I look great? Well, I'm not here to thank you. I'm trying to get back on camera. It's Victoria Day, Queen Victoria Day. Well, my goodness. I hope it's a national holiday in England too. I guess for the isn't there a province? Okay. That's awesome. I promise you, working in healthcare, it wouldn't be a day off, unfortunately. We work every holiday unless it's a federal here in the United States. UK seems more on the menopause stuff. I'll be dead before the US updates its mindset. Yeah, and I'm trying to speak about, my hair looks great with bounce. You know what? I used thank you guys. I mean, I'm going to be 55 this year, and as we know, I've been extremely unwell for the last I've been pretty unwell since probably last year. And I didn't realize until probably like the last couple of days, having come off all these antibiotics and actually healing and feeling so much better, I just suddenly realized how sick I was, like how much it had impacted me. And that's why I kind of want to have this conversation. We'll get to Amberlynn, her first one, Eloise, so we can keep you around here. You can't even see the scar. Oh, good. Maybe I should just zip up. It's because somebody said I looked like a drug addict the other day when I came on camera, and I had no lighting, no makeup. And I obviously had lost 10 pounds recently. And so, yes, I was probably looking like a drug addict because I was on more antibiotics than you can imagine for a month. So, yeah, I was pretty worn out. Happy Victoria Day. Happy Victoria. Or Jeudi des Patrimoines. There's my attempt at French. So I apologize for any Franco-linguists out there for my destruction of that language. Team Psycho, semaglutide has too many side effects to use compounds without your doctor okaying it. And I would be curious too on the thought of the compounding, with it still potentially being a drug that is under they have the patent on the drug currently, so it hasn't just been released as a generic drug. Like, you can't just get semaglutide over the counter as a generic medication, like you could say metoprolol, without it being a brand. You get the brand from the of course, now the name of the pharmaceutical company is escaping me, and I know you all know it, so put it in the chat. Is the patent holder, and they can get a pretty long amount of time here in the US when only they are selling that drug, and you can't get a generic equivalent. Like something like Eliquis and Xarelto have been around forever. Hey, Jamie, come on in. Nova Nordis. Thank you, Sandra. Coming on in and doing oh gosh, I lost my train of thought, but they're not going to be able to do it as a generic, like Xarelto and Eliquis are not even generic drugs yet. So they can get quite a long period of time where they are the only company who's able to distribute and sell these drugs here in the US. They will not go generic like that. So yeah, it's patent for 7 to 8 years. Yeah, it's a long time. And I don't think Eliquis or Xarelto, I remember prescribing or having patients prescribed these medications back in 2014, and they were fairly new to the market then. And those are still the only two you hear prescribed other than Coumadin. And Plavix or clopidogrel is now a generic drug that you could easily get. And so that does affect the cost here in the United States. And I'm sure in the UK, Eliquis lost its patent last year. Okay. Now, is that just in the US? I mean, sorry, in the UK, pardon me. Or is that also for the US? I'd be wondering. Miss Bella must be traveling. But anyway, I should start knowing more about these things soon and I'll make this real quick and then we'll get to Amber because I want to get Eloise and her expertise on the Ozempic here. And obviously, it's been, as always, everybody in Gorlworld and, YouTube is an Ozempic expert. And I don't mean to be harsh, but they jump on these clickbait titles. And there's just so many people who say they have no expertise in these subjects, but then proceed to have really their whole entire live streams around these topics. And I just want to make sure that we're getting out good information from pharmacists, from practitioners, and kind of looking over this because there's so much sensationalism. Amberlynn only needs to mention the word Ozempic and everybody is off about it. And they don't really seem to understand, necessarily the complexities of how it is prescribed in the United States, the FDA regulations on it. It's very sensationalized, especially with every celebrity on the planet taking it. At least we can say things that are outside of our knowledge. Absolutely. And I will say that, on the most part, because I don't prescribe Ozempic to patients, so I've obviously had patients on these medications, I will say that I can go based on what the evidence, and if it's outside my knowledge, then I'm definitely going to want somebody else to weigh in on that for me. Berlinta nearly broke me. Right. Oh, Berlinta. Yes. Thank you, Golf Girls Granny. Yes. I have a lot of patients who get prescribed that after cardiac events when I worked in cardiac medicine. And because I'm changing I want to tell you guys some exciting news today. But yeah, I had so many patients about that. It's a great drug comparatively, I think, to clopidogrel, but to have to be a year on Brilinta is very expensive. And insurance, they're going to cover the least expensive drug better. You had a wonky pupil after a head injury for several years. I got the drug addict comments and caring only makes a person paranoid. Yes. And of course, obviously, I work in healthcare and seen people get really ill, especially from cancer. And so for people to be so harsh on people with, diagnosis, that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do when I came into Gorlworld in some ways was to say, hey, look, yeah, these people aren't perfect. Some of them are really problematic, but let's learn from their health issues and let's not just perpetuate an environment that I personally perceive, and I'm trying not to do as much to Foodie, but I do get upset that she's such a badly managed type 2 diabetic and the harm she does, talking about support groups and stuff. And because of it, she's got me now changing literally my course of direction in nurse practice. You're a heart attack survivor? Okay, yeah, then switched. Yep, see, for everybody who doubts, like Foodie Beauty doubted that I was actually a registered nurse, that with a year of graduate degree studies, more than a year, and really, and now going back to grad school. So I wanted to let everybody know. And I will still continue the channel because I'm excited, because I'm going to need the channel's support, because obviously one of the reasons why I've been rushing about, I'm going to make this real quick. I wonder if she's been sick. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a Foodie checkup tomorrow about where she's been and stuff. And if she's just trying to make a bunch of clickbait, and thinking that Gorlworld is going to fall apart because she's not putting out content. And all anybody has done is talk about Amberlynn Reid and Ozempic and glitters and everybody else. Yeah, so we're going to do that. Yeah. Are you changing into endocrinology? No, Caden, I'm not. I am not, because that would still be my adult gerontology acute care nurse practitioner. So originally, for my graduate studies for my nurse practitioner, so becoming a certified nurse practitioner here in the US, which I'm not sure if it's the same in the UK, but here in the US, it gives you a lot of more potential for prescriptive authority. And then here in Virginia, after 5 years, you actually can go into practice on your own. And so I was studying into that. And so what I actually decided to do, and I actually will graduate much faster. And I've already got all my core classes completed. This is a terrible camera angle for me. Core classes completed. And one additional class that I'm actually spoke to the school because they had me as a drop. So I have to go back in. So I had to pay for another background check today, which is, has to always happen when you're entering into a healthcare discipline. And I already had a background check paid for before. So I'm like, great, I'm broke. I need to buy a background check. I applied for my FAFSA, which is financial aid, before my work was paying for it. But I realized that really to complete my studies and dedicate the time I need to really do it, it is very hard to work full time and be a medical student. It's hard because my work was taking 50 to 60 hours of my week up. And then I had to try to study at a graduate level to become a practitioner. Like doctors don't work. And yet I was anticipated to be a full-time employee and a full-time student trying to be a nurse practitioner. And I ended up going down to part-time. Anyway, long story short, I have reapplied. I have the grades. My academic record is excellent. I just need to catch up on the financial stuff because colleges here, at least this one is out of state, and it's not it's Purdue University, but it's their online. And so that's more of a, private institution, I guess. And so anyway, yes, long story short, I am training now, and hopefully I either start in July or latest at September, as long as I can get all of this part of the financial picture fixed up, because I owe them a little bit of money. And they were trying to say I was sent to collections for like $500 or something. I talked to the guy anyway. I ended up, you froze. Oh no, I hope not. Everything looks okay on my end. Let me know. So anyway, long story short, because I'm going to lose my audience and I want to keep Eloise. I am training now to be, and like I said, I just need to get the background check, which is no problem, a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So that is actually what I'm now specializing in. Hey, funny girl. I was just telling everybody I switched my nurse practice focus today. I had been focusing on becoming an adult gerontology acute care nurse practitioner, which is basically like doing cardiology, working at the hospital level. And having spent time with you and the community and in doing things and just doing more research and just even my own impact of my health and just kind of reflecting on things, it just all fell into place that now, funny girl, I am entering the program to become a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. And I'm only about a year away from graduating because I've already got 36 credit hours in my master's program. So within a year, maybe next June of 20. So I'm hoping everybody will support me, and I will be doing a separate channel about just being an adult, mature graduate student. But yes, I spoke to the college today. They said my academic record is excellent. It's just getting the financial piece taken care of. And I'm either starting and Eloise, you'll love this. They did. Oh, wow. Thank you for the AdSense. Thank you for the AdSense. You can skip it along. I have, the grades. And so I'm just waiting for my background check. I'm not worried. And just getting all the financial pieces put to place. But yeah, within a year, I can be and then taking obviously my board. So maybe just a little bit over a year. Because it's actually less credit hours. So it's a little bit faster. I will be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner with the ability to actually prescribe the medications and, do that piece for the therapist. And I am really excited. I do. I do. I have clinicals. I will be going on clinicals. Absolutely. Yes. And I've already done all my core components. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I am so excited. You're also a grad student in instructional design and technology. Oh, that's fascinating. So yeah, I'm excited. Thanks to all of you guys. And just, sort of, and so I hope that as I continue starting advanced pharmacology in another class, hopefully July will be the start date. So all my pharmacists, I'm gonna need you guys to give you tips to memorize all the med classes. Oh my God, I'm really excited. Oh, I'm excited. It's a wonderful path because I could actually go into private practice and become my own practitioner, psychiatric nurse practitioner. So I'm really excited. Yes, I can diagnose. Yes, I can diagnose and prescribe. Yes. Absolutely. Under the initially here in Virginia, it would be under the license of a practicing psychiatrist doctor. And then after that, after 5 years, if I have everything in place and all these letters and, there's a certain process, I actually can go into my own private practice. Yes. Yes. And yeah, and work in hospitals. I mean, there's so many different places that I can actually work in. Yes. Oh, yeah, I hope they work out quickly too. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I am so excited. I'm really, really excited. So I am gonna try to have a channel where I just talk about being an adult grad student and kind of the and the sort of, sort of the things that are a little bit different. I've got a mortgage. I'm not married. I've got to try to find scholarships and funding, which gets really hard when you're at the grad level. Oh, hospitals. Oh, we have a very large psychiatric hospital here, very close to where I live. So I'm hoping that I can get some clinical rotations. There's a lot of need here. So I am so excited. Yes, I know. Yes, yes, yes. The therapists do all the treating. I do the diagnosis medication parts more than that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I am excited. I was trying to become a nurse practitioner. I was just doing hospital level, which is acute care adult gerontology. So it was like one of the highest, definitely levels of becoming a nurse practitioner as far as, for sort of pay and responsibility. It was definitely that, but the mental health is also very well compensated here in the United States. So it will be excellent. And I'm so excited. And I think that just want to thank everybody in the community because I think having sort of been part of this community and kind of looking at the Gorlworld people, it's made me realize that there's such a need in that mental health area. And I've just always been fascinated with the topic as much as I'm fascinated with cardiology. Mental health has always been something that I've been found fascinating from a really young age. And the actual prospect of being able to treat and diagnose and prescribe in that area has me super excited. So I am just pumped to the nine. Yes, please hit the like. So, because that's a free way to help support me, get more AdSense. I know people are watching ads, but it does help me out because I have not been able to work in months and my savings are depleted. I tell you, I'm not trying to be like foodie beauty, but I can promise you even paying for the background check today was out, was hard. Yes, I'm back. I'm trying to be back. I'm just like, to heck with it. I'm celebrating. Hopefully I've just been told that they just have to get the financial piece fixed, I'm sure they'll help me out and help me get back into school because I'm so close to graduation. I'm already got I've already got all my core classes completed and one of my advanced pathophysiology. So I'm have all the classes I need, and it was a perfect time to switch because I really wasn't feeling the other anymore after I got sick. I just wasn't feeling it. And I feel like there's so much about physical health that we need to address with mental health that I want to take on that piece. I've had to do it more than you realize as a registered nurse, where I've had to administer PRQ9s, where patients have indicated they don't wish to live anymore. And I've actually had to sit down with these patients and ask them if they have plans to take their lives. And then obviously, connect with their primary care doctor with their scores and reach out and let them know they didn't have plans to take their lives, but obviously they do need to get more assistance, medications, possible therapies. And so having had this experience, and like I said, kind of looking at Foodie, looking at like Amberlynn, looking at all these folks just got me more and more in the mindset that I need to there's so much of a need. There's such a shortage of mental health practitioners. We get lots of therapists, but it's hard to get the diagnosis and treating part can be more difficult. So that's where I decided that I could come in with my experience, expertise, and obviously licensure, and the fact that, I have a great interest in this. I'm really excited. It's really exciting. I can tell when my body put, I'm so sorry. Yeah. And I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people, and so I'm hoping I'll make myself a little bit bigger, that there. And so I really want to be able to do that. Yeah. Chronic illness is so hard. Yes. And I think it is, Eloise. And I think that's what I discovered too. With just dealing with this very short-term illness that I had, and how I started to feel mentally, and how I feel now that I'm kind of rounding the corner. I've got a lot of challenges still to face career-wise, but I was just sort of thinking to myself, if I get back onto the floor and get back into that routine of my regular RN life, it's going to become harder and harder for me to complete grad school. And I'm so close. I just said, you know what? I'm going to do like the doctors do. I'm going to just try to look for scholarships. I'm going to try. And it's hard when you're a grad student. Loans, I'm just going to have to do it and go for it. But I know that in reality, at the end of the day, I still have a lot of years where I will be working. I've got 20 years left of a career easily. So I need to, and I think this would be a good way to move into my career, especially being older and being able to support people, because I think experience helps a lot when you're working with mental health disorders. Yeah, I'm so sorry about all that. Hey, Dan, come on in. Yes, absolutely, Angel Glass. And obviously, I live in an area with a huge number of veterans here in Virginia Beach. I mean, we're just surrounded. So we do have the VA here. So that's another potential employer for me here. I mean, there's just such a shortage. There are actually a lot of scholarships, but I may be too late to apply, and I probably already graduated by the time I get out of it because I'm already so far into my program. That does help provide for shortages, especially for mental health. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. You dealt with a lot of sadness. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yep. And we have to ask. We have to ask, And if you don't, then you're not a good practitioner. You just have to, especially when I mean, I promise you, I've had to ask it because I've worked with cancer patients, all of it. And you want to be able to make people feel like, look, it's okay to talk. And I think we're getting so much better about people wanting to access mental health. We're taking the stigma away, and I want to continue doing that. Your husband was stationed in Virginia Beach in Norfolk. Well, I hope you can hear the jets flying over right now, girl, because they're coming out for you. Oh, Chesapeake is gorgeous. Here come the jets. You can tell I'm right at the O front because the jets are flying today. We got the jets and we got the landscapers going. So yeah, one thing in the psychological standpoint, do you think YouTube paying these people with serious issues? I think, yeah, I have a problem when YouTube has terms of service where they don't want content that shows self-harm, yet they allow, these mukbangs to continue with pretty obvious consequences because we lost life by Jen. So if YouTube is unable to see the connection between these channels with overeating and the food addiction and how they really aren't benefiting a community, and it literally had one of its creators die and others have also, I think that's really bad. And I think that they do have a responsibility to actually follow through with their terms of services. I think they should demonetize these channels if they do start to talk about subjects without trigger warnings, like Foodie talking about wanting to start support groups and all of this. But it also takes, people wanting to report these people. And a lot of times people don't want to. Oh, Weena Maria Leah, she's gifted 5 Life and Mind memberships. You are so kind in celebration of Victoria Day in Canada. You are so kind. Whoever got the gifted membership, please make yourself known in the chat so we can celebrate all of our new members. Yes, I am I don't think she's allowed. Is she being able to post on it? Because, I think that's the difficulty. It's because, there isn't a positivity movement about being anorexic thin, though Hollywood is pretty close to it. So yeah. Yeah. So everyone, you're so kind. Thank you so much. Did you get a membership? Golf Calls Granny. Well, I am so glad. Everybody, make sure that you have put in that you would love to receive memberships. Okay. I am going to make sure. Thank you so much. That's so kind. You don't know how much. I'm going to do a new shout out. I just haven't had a chance yet. Yeah, I'm shocked she's still here too. Yeah, it's amazing she hasn't had a cardiac event yet. All right, let's bring up Amberlynn before I lose my pharmacist over here. So thank you for sharing my news with me today. I am so excited. All right, so Amberlynn is starting a new medicine. Most of these girls probably should be seeing therapists. Just saying. Okay. All righty. So obviously I might, she kind of talks fast. We'll see how she talks. See if she's too slow or too fast. So she says, starting a new medicine, more doctor's appointments, and Zach can't take the heat vlog. Okay, so we'll see which type of doctor, because I'm curious. I'm curious because I've never really known a primary care to say, sure, just get off to the med spa doctor for the Ozempic. It's, I have a lot of thoughts about, the choices that they make of patients getting these med spa drugs. Because obviously, if you're going to a med spa, most of the time, most people here in the US would probably have insurance that have the type of money to generally go to med spas. They're not cheap. So probably people who are probably more aesthetically getting these drugs than for diabetes or pre-diabetes control or genuine weight loss control, because Eloise will tell you in the chat that Ozempic is not enough of a medication to help this young lady with weight loss. It's just not a dosage to take the weight like that. Not in her situation. She is a Wegovy girl all the way. Unless they're using it to treat type 2 diabetes, which you would not have a med spa, would not be the type of facility managing a chronic endocrine condition like diabetes type 2. And so I don't know if Amberlynn has yet mentioned if she has type 2 diabetes yet. I don't know. I think that's what people were thinking when she was going to take Ozempic. but she's getting it from a med spa, which would mean to me aesthetic reasons. And Ozempic's not going to touch this. What do you think, Eloise, that whether Ozempic, let me add myself to the little tiny hit corner here. There I am. What is a med spa? A med spa, Miss Can, is a medical aesthetics place. So that would be the type of location you go to get a facial, maybe Solabella, maybe your Botox, your fillers, anything that you're going to be doing aesthetically. Not to be doing with the med spas are going to be your fancy places to go to. You're going to get, like I said, you're going to get fillers like Juvederm and Restylane. You're going to get neuromodulators like Botox and what's the other one out in Europe that they have? There's another one. There's a couple of other neuromodulators, but basically the ones to freeze your wrinkles. You're going to be getting facials with microdermabrasions, micro blading. I mean, just all of these different types of medical at a medical level. So a lot of times they all given either by trained medical estheticians, or if they're doing the Botox and the fillers, they would have to be a registered nurse and higher in their practice level. Often these places can be connected to plastic surgeons' offices where they're doing more medical grade facials. I know even at the plastic surgeons that I go to, which is connected with the Eastern Virginia Medical School, they also offer these sort of medical grade aesthetic treatments. So there's all different types. They generally have to have a doctor oversee them. And these drugs need to be alongside diet and lifestyle. Correct. If you don't do the diet and the lifestyle, all of the drugs for diabetes pretty much say mix with diet and lifestyle. It doesn't seem safe. I mean, it's not that they're not safe. Because they do have to have licensed physicians as the medical directors of these places. If you go to a good medical spa, and you're going to be paying money, to go there. But they're going to be the ones, like if you go to get Botox or fillers, you need to go to a medical spa attached to like a plastic surgeon's office. Because you want people who do plastics all day. You basically want your plastic surgeon to do it. In fact, I get my plastic surgeon to do my Botox. I won't lie. When I used to be able to get it done when I was working. It's not unusual for people in the medical field here in the US to really enjoy these medical aesthetics because we understand their medical grade. We know that if real results come through these medical grade procedures, not from a fancy cream. Eloise says, I'm not sure if med spas have protocols, but in the UK, you need to show continued weight loss to continue to receive repeat prescriptions. Right. And see, I don't know here when you're paying cash for the drug. I don't know if it's the same, that's how, a lot of these folks in Hollywood receiving these medications. It's not that their doctor's prescribing it and they're getting it on their Anthem insurance policy. They are literally private paying $1,200 a month to get a prescription shot. Because that's about what it costs, at least here in Virginia. Because yes, I do know people who go to medical physician's assistants often in the aesthetics industry. I promise you, an aesthetics nurse practitioner makes very good money. Not as much as a mental health nurse practitioner, psychiatrist, but a pretty close amount of money to that. So there's a lot of money. You have to private pay for Botox. See, that's interesting because here in the US, if you can get the neurologist, and they're hard to sign off because they want you to take the pharmaceutical drugs. If you can't get the neurologist to sign off that only Botox will work for the migraine, you can have it here on insurance, but it's a hard fight. Yeah. Money talks in the USA. You know it, Angel Glass. Money talks, man. Money talks. Optavia has a partnership. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Optavia is a terrible God, I can't say enough about that MLM. That's good. Nothing good about that company. That's spooky to me. That an MLM business that has restrictive diets would have access to getting doctors for Ozempic. But I promise you, unfortunately, especially here in the US, there is money to be made. At one point I was trying to get a plastic surgeon that was a hand surgeon to go and become start doing at-home Botox parties with me, because she was the doctor who could get the medication through her license. And it was during COVID, and I was saying, hey, look, we do house parties for Botox. We'll be making a fortune. She didn't want to pull the plug. And I was like, I'll do all the work, man. I'll even give you the bigger cut, because I knew how much money could be made, because I had been to houses where there had been physicians with their doctor, with the doctor husband and the nurse wife doing Botox at a home party. And there were probably 30 people there. I don't even want to know how much money they made, man. Wild. It's wild, the amount of money That's why everyone wants to get into healthcare. That's why everybody talks about healthcare subjects on YouTube. That's why everyone talks about Ozempic. And, and that's why, I always say be, judicious about who you're watching or the reasons you're watching something. So if you're watching a reaction channel and then they don't have a medical expertise and they're talking about somebody's medical journey, obviously just take it with a pinch of salt in some ways, because they're not medical experts. But they're going to talk about people's medical journeys, and they're going to get views on it, and people are going to make all sorts of opinions about people being on these drugs. So that's where we need to try to cut through stuff. So let's bring up this young lady and figure out who exactly, kind of gave her the direction for this, because she's been on it before. Her primary doc, I don't even know if she has a primary. That's the problem with all of these girls half the time. They don't seem to realize that they are needing to be at an age where they should have had a primary care by now. I think they all think they're 20. And even then you probably should have had a doctor. But the problem is that people just don't want to spend the money here on the US. I promise you. I get so many stories of people who've gone on 40,000, Disney cruises and you refuse to go to see a doctor, because people don't want to spend the money on that stuff. People don't. They want to spend money on fun. Doctors and, health crap, not fun for most people. Disney cruise or unlimited buffet and drinks, that's fun.
I have a doctor's appointment super early, so let's go do that. Okay, so I just got out of my doctor's appointment.
No.
I did cry a little in there, and I itched my eyebrow, and I messed up.
No, Cal, they don't have any type of default doctor. If you don't put the legwork in to actually get yourself a doctor, and the wait list now is insane. There are so many. We obviously have now the aging boomer population. Not to say boomers are horrible. It's just what the nickname is for that particular generation, the baby boomers. It was a very large cohort of population who have now been living much longer than most generations before, with a really big generation. And so they really all, taking up a big chunk of the medical system here in the United States. And I don't know for how much in other countries, but they definitely are a very big cohort, because obviously the other larger generations, millennials, they aren't of the age group where they feel like they need to be going, i.e. Amberlynn Reid, to the doctors so much. So we have a huge aging population. And so they obviously are much better about getting on top of their medical care. And they pretty much have probably taken up every primary care physician out there and family doctor. And that's why there's become such a push to try to get more physician's assistants and more nurse practitioners to start to handle maybe more of these kind of management of chronic conditions at a family care level. And then people who are the physicians themselves, maybe going more into just where we need specialties, hospitals, and trying to figure out how the healthcare system moves to the modern age, because it isn't, you know, always needed to have a family practice doctor managing chronic conditions at that level, because a lot of times they're just referring to specialists when it comes to anything more major. So, or, you know, do you want to make sure they're more internal medicine doctors who are caring for more complex chronic conditions to go? It's a whole thing. Medicine is definitely going to have to make an adaptation to how we practice. Sorry, let me Amber continue.
My makeup, it is what it is. I'll just fix it when I get home. I don't really care. So I think the doctor that I saw today, I think that he is going to be like my official doctor. I really genuinely liked him. I have a hard time with doctors because people my size are discriminated against in healthcare. That is a whole other topic for a whole other time. But I genuinely liked him. Like
and I'm sorry, Amberlynn, that's not true. I'm very tired of this rhetoric. I don't know what they mean. Like, the scale doesn't seem big enough. The bed. What part do you need to describe how you're feeling discriminated? Is it the gowns aren't big enough? Because I certainly have never treated with disrespect a patient based on their size. In fact, I probably have sometimes gone out of my way to make larger patients feel more comfortable, because I know they don't feel comfortable. So to always continuously hear that doctors' offices and medical practitioners discriminate, I think is just becoming an excuse not to get medical care and to actually listen. If you feel that discrimination is unfortunately having to point out that your size increases your risk factors, then you're always going to feel discriminated against. And I think since you have this mindset, it would be so important for you to actually address some of these with therapy, which you do not stick to. It's really frustrating. I'm so tired of hearing it. And it's so rude to a medical industry that is a lot more sensitive to these matters than you're pointing out. Yes, could there be people in lower levels in the healthcare system who are maybe not as educated to be sensitive? Absolutely. But to say that doctors constantly discriminate against people who have weight issues is just blanket lies. It's tiresome. You need to actually give me a full-on example of this, because I am going to start supporting the people in my industry, because we go above and beyond often to make people feel comfortable. And I promise you, girl, I've worked with patients your size. Sorry. It's just hard to hear all the time.
I have like really high respect for my doctor that I had in Kentucky. So it's like, I need someone to match that energy, or we just ain't vibing. Just remember to be an advocate for yourself.
Yes, I know that doctors say to lose weight, but the reason why is because for every 10 pounds lost, if you're coming in with high blood pressure, it might be the only way to actually address some of the conditions. And then it's a conversation, I think, to have, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to lose this weight? I think that people are all going to have to understand that weight does affect many conditions. So can we be more sensitive about how we approach it? Yes. But if you're going in there and you kind of understand that potentially your weight could be part of a health risk, then I think as a population, we need to also understand that too. And so, you know, they're doctors. Obesity causes so many different diseases. We do need to encourage people to lose weight. And that is just part of medicine. And if that's hard to hear, then that's where you have to try to address that mental part. Why is that difficult to hear? I think that then is a moment of self-reflection. You know, as hard as that seems to sound.
Yourself, very important. I always stand by that. Okay, so now we're at Walgreens because I have to get a prescription. So of course I gravitate towards the journals. Look at, you cannot pour love into others if you do not.
Yeah, and I will admit there are doctors who don't seem to listen to patients because they are pushed for time, especially here in the United States. I can let you know that the healthcare administrations and the way that they want to make money, they give your doctor 15 minutes and they want you to come in only with one thing and one thing alone, because that's what the coding will allow to pay. So it is. Healthcare has changed. There's a lot of specialists. And I think that there is a lot to learn. But then I think you then need to ask your doctor, to explain that further. And so I think people need to feel that they can advocate for themselves too. So, but it's just hard because I've worked in healthcare and I certainly have not tried to always discriminate. So I think, just hearing constantly we just get discriminated, I think that's very stereotyping and a blanket statement. And we've all had bad experiences everywhere. I don't think I can take one industry and not say I haven't had a bad or a good experience.
I'll pour love into yourself. Love that. And I really like
Med
this.
student? Oh, goodness.
That is like totally my aesthetic.
Right. Oh, 7 minutes in the UK.
Now we're
Wow.
at some place called Golden Chicken. I have no idea.
I know. What can you do for a patient in 7 minutes? Sometimes the patient takes 7 minutes to explain what is happening. So that's why usually that's why it's so important when you finally go in for a consult and you have an hour, write your questions down. Make sure you know the questions you have. I go in every time to a doctor's office with a list of questions because I want to make sure, one, I don't lose my track because there's a lot going on, and I want to make sure I stay focused. And I think that, there does need to be a part that we unfortunately have to play as the patient, that we are adults going into this situation, and therefore we need to try to, educate ourselves in how to ask questions and be prepared with information to give to the doctors so we get our best results. And it's a team, that you have to, we, patient and doctors and practitioners work together as a team. And I think often the patient takes a passive role rather than an active role. And so I certainly do recommend patients being active in their care, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my mom wanted to come here, so I got like a chicken salad. She got some roasted chicken, and where did my voice just go? And then obviously I got a diet Dr. Pepper for my salad.
Right.
Came like this, and then here's like the chicken salad part. So I guess I just like put it on top of this. It smells good. Not bad.
Well, unfortunately, Charlie's mum, it's not as easy as that, just billing the insurance, because insurance doesn't work that simply here in the US. Unfortunately, if a patient has gone into an appointment and the appointment has been listed for this, because you have to say ahead of time, like, annual checkup, physical assessment, it's very difficult to have, somebody come in with one thing and then they suddenly want to address 5 others. And that would be probably for a primary care. So, I mean, we need to, I think as nurses, the nurses need to do a better job taking time to educate patients about working with their doctors. But a lot of nurses don't. They just push the paper for doctors and really have little interaction with patients sometimes. So I certainly would recommend getting to know the doctor's nurse that triages it for him and building a relationship with his nurse in order to get information across. And I think a lot of people miss that component too. So yeah, I've taken to filling in the GP's online request form first, and then the GP rings me. Yeah, you've got to, it's a team. It's a team it's the nurse, the doctor, the patient. And I think, we're changing in healthcare too. How we educate, how we interact with patients is changing. But Amberlynn doesn't help the rhetoric because she's not a good patient. I call my daughter, oh, see, look at these doctors. All the nurses yes, absolutely. I promise you, I have stayed late at night when I needed to be home walking my dog and getting dinner to explain Like the longest amount of time, just a lady taking an iron and a vitamin C. And I swear she just kept me on the phone because she wanted the conversation. And she would not let me off. It's just wild. But obviously I did it because the patient. But it's honestly, oh, yeah, the nurses will get it. Honestly, my nurse is more knowledgeable. Oh, Sir Austin. Well, Sir Austin, I was just saying that I have got back to going to graduate school to finish my nurse practice licensure, but I switched my focus to become a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and I have only a year to go as a full-time student before I actually will certify and graduate. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you all of you who are members here supporting the channel. Hey, Sam, come on. Eloise says, I managed to phone the lonely patients. Yes, I've had some great conversations with pharmacists over the phone. It's amazing the generosity of time. And they know they have so much work to do and they might be staying late. But we care about people at the end of the day. That's why we went into healthcare. So it's not hard for us often to give extra time. You did the service desk for 6 years. I had some old people calling on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yes. And I was a child with hyperactivity. So I have a lot of compassion for people with adult hyper active disorders. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very excited. Oh, yes. I'm so glad. Yes. I want to, I don't want just Amberlynn constantly. Every doctor she says is discriminatory. I'm glad she likes this one. We'll see how long it lasts. She likes them for about a week. And then if they actually try to hold her accountable to anything, she doesn't like them. That's her biggest problem. That's what I'm perceiving anyway. Obviously, I'm not treating or diagnosing, and this is only for education and information purposes only, everybody.
Right, but it's okay.
I'm taking my tomatoes out, though.
It's not like the salad and go plate.
What do you mean?
Their boxes are made to shake it up.
Have these girls never seen a napkin before? Why do they always lick finger on camera? That looked like a lot of dressing that got put into there. But, and it probably doesn't have enough protein to actually keep her full. I don't know what's the protein in here. And that's the problem when you get to salads with people sometimes. You do need to get a good protein in here so that you don't feel like you're going to be hungry after 10 minutes.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, this looks good.
Right. Yeah,
okay, guys, so I have been home for like 20 minutes. I'm actually about to call a med spa place. For my doctor's appointment, I will actually explain why I went to begin with. Probably do that in this vlog. If I don't, probably in the next one. But while I was there, I just wanted, a professional's opinion on semaglutide and what, he thought of me getting it from a med spa. And he actually highly recommends that I do that. I'm actually about to call the med spa right now. So yeah.
What doctor? This is where I'm so confused. And I wish I had a family practice doctor here. Obviously, I am a nurse practitioner in training here in the United States. And I was previously in the acute care adult gerontology side of medicine, which would be more hospital. So she had a doctor's appointment. Was she getting a primary care physician? Why, if she had insurance, okay, and she was able to see a primary care physician, would she not then be able to be prescribed something more appropriate to get the correct medication, maybe more for weight loss for someone like Amberlynn, which would be Wegovy? Because if she was having type 2 diabetes at all, why would her doctor send her to a med spa to get Ozempic, which is only FDA approved, so i.e. covered by insurance if you have either if you're diabetic type 2. Wegovy, I understand, can be more for pre-diabetes and weight loss to make sure you don't get to the diabetic part. So who exactly is the doctor that said, go off to the med spa? It doesn't make sense. She hasn't said if it was an endocrinologist, which you would need to probably get a primary care doctor to refer you to a specialist. So who is the doctor? Unless it's the med spa doctor, which you don't usually even see unless you went to an open house. I'm just really confused. Yes, I'm very confused. She uses clickbait and then tells the story. Oh yeah, it's a clickbait. It's a clickbait by everybody. Everybody in Gorlworld is clickbaiting the crap out of this thing. Semaglutide from a med spa is cheaper than Wegovy. Yeah, but it's not going to do the weight loss that she needs. She's not going to get what she needs from Ozempic. The dose, would you not say? Would you not say that yes, I agree, Soroff said it was a med spa salesperson who's just, hired to work at a med spa they don't even have to have a college degree. Oh, probably an online doctor? That would be the only thing. Would it be a doctor that she spoke to through a doctor online service and, was trying to get a prescription and they weren't able to prescribe it to her because she's not, a suitable, she don't have the insurance? So they said, yeah, go to the med spa because they couldn't do anything for her. That, I mean, yeah, she does, Angel of Glass, which is why I decided to take the route that I am for my practice. Is I'm starting to feel like we need to start really addressing this component. Not that we don't need the healthcare providers and hospitals either, but I think with me getting a little bit older, I think the mental health I've always been fascinated. I read huge books about psychology, not even as a psychology student back in the 90s, just for giggles and fun, because I was so fascinated with the topic. So I've just, and now that I actually find out that I have an opportunity to become a diagnosing practitioner as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, I have like a whole new career revival today. I really do. I have a whole new career revival. I'm excited. Stay tuned when she's on the antibiotics. Her health is so bad, Doctor. I don't know if she's seeing a Dr. Sandra, and I just that's just not how it works. Do you know what I mean? It's just not how it works. And all if she was actually following up, if anyone, with an internal medicine physician. This is where I'm just so confused. I'm very confused. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. I'm so excited. I just have to get the financial piece. I've got the grades. The college told me my academic standing is beyond excellent. So I'm an excellent student. I just don't have excellent finances because I'm single and not married. I only trust my doctor and PT. Right. I just like, who is this person? She said she had type 2. But, if she really had type 2, she wouldn't be sent to a med spa to pay private out of pocket. She would be connected with GoodRx or potentially with the manufacturer themselves for discounts. or, encouraged to get insurance through the, Affordable Care Act, something that would actually then cover these drugs for her at a much lower cost. So to go to a med spa and spend $1,200 on an Ozempic shot, which isn't really going to do much for her at her size. I mean, maybe give her some control on the A1C. If she has Medicaid? Oh, girl, she wouldn't qualify for Medicaid. And they certainly wouldn't be doing Medicaid in the med spa. That would be like a hard pass no in a med spa, girl. If she was type 2, right. It just does not make sense. Are you considered a non-traditional student? I am considered an independent, Sir Austin. So I am going to be looking for grants and scholarships. I've just missed some of the cutoff dates for those, but some are coming up soon. And once I get to my financial aid, I just did the 2024-2025 FAFSA because I used to have all of my studies paid for through my work, which was really fortunate, which is why I've said, look, I've already had 36 credit hours of grad school paid for. And I only have a year left of school to go full time. So I just said, you know what? I've never taken a master's. I still have financial aid I can get. I'm looking at all of that stuff. So yeah. Yeah, it's type 2. Right. I just like, this is sketchy. This is real sketchy. That's also how I first got Botox. Oh yeah. Hey girl, I promise you, I had, my dermatologist was the first person to give me one of my neuromodulators. It wasn't Botox. It was the other one more common in Europe. Its name's forgetting me. Dysport. Tell you, I know a lot about these, okay? I spent a lot of money in aesthetic medical treatments. I can tell you all about it. I've had everything. I've had fillers, Kybella, Botox, surgeries, you name it. Because here in the United States in the medical profession, we definitely like to dabble with the fun stuff too, especially us ladies. She makes too much money. Yeah, this isn't Medicaid. You don't go to a med spa on Medicaid. If anyone's saying she gotten a prescription from some doctor on Medicaid, just this whole thing about this doctor, this is just like, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's no doctor that I would know if she was actually treating a medical condition, okay? Not for vanity purposes, okay? Because the med spa is not going to treat a chronic condition like type 2 diabetes and give a prescription. It is there for aesthetic weight loss. And it's really misused this way because half of these people already are thin as a rail and they just want to drop 10 pounds for a wedding, okay? So they're not medically necessitating these medications at all there. So it's not that they're practitioners giving the medications or licensed to give it. What it is that they're licensed to give it and they're giving it for aesthetic reasons, off FDA approved reasons, out of what insurance would cover. Because insurance is not going to cover Ozempic for weight loss. If your doctor if you do not have a diagnosis of diabetes type 2 in your chart and your doctor prescribes you Ozempic, insurance will not cover it. Now, if you have pre-diabetes and you do need to have weight loss due to morbid obesity, then insurance will potentially cover for Wegovy. But not for the other purposes. They use it off-label at these med spas. So what she's up to over here is interesting because I don't see any physician in my experience working in the medical field unless she spoke to the doctor who's the medical director at the med spa. And he said, yeah, absolutely. Why would he say no? So maybe she met with the med spa director. But you very rarely meet those people. You would just call up and say, hey, I want some Ozempic for weight loss, and I'm prepared to spend $1,200 for the injection. Because they're compounding pharmacies to make it. I don't think they can't compound, Des. They can't. Ozempic is a patented medication at this time, which is why it's so hard for people to get. They can't compound it. Novo Nordisk owns that patent. They can't compound. It's not generic. So it's not allowed to be compounded like that. They can't go to a compound pharmacy. From what I understand, that would not be allowed. The only person who can produce that medication is Novo Nordisk through their manufacturing plants. Nothing else. They do. It's common because it says peptide. It can't be patented. Well, I thought they had a 7 to 8 year on that. Well, I'm surprised well, then they couldn't use the name Ozempic. They couldn't say they're giving Ozempic injections then. They'd have to say they're giving semaglutide injections. They would not be able to use the brand name of Ozempic. And I don't think that's the case because I have a friend of mine who gets it from a med spa and it's Ozempic under the Novo Nordisk. So I would be surprised. And I'd be surprised is fighting it legally. I would be surprised they don't call it semaglutide. Well, I would not be feeling comfortable getting a compounded pharmaceutical from med spa. That would make me feel nervous. Getting the compounds. And they are calling it semaglutide. Ozempic has a patent. Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to check into it. Thank you. Yeah. And I would be curious to know. I'm thinking that probably Eloise has gone to sleep now. And some of our pharmacists are not around. But we're going to find out the bottom of this because I don't think, yeah, they use it as a catch-all like they use Botox, but I'm now more curious than ever then about this compounding side. And then if it is going, how med spas can have a relationship with a compound pharmacy. There's a lot into that because I've tried to work with compounding pharmacies and we use them, it's not, it's interesting. Oh, here we go. I wouldn't get a compound. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Eloise. You're still here for another 10 minutes because they're all, obviously, here in the US, it's like just, it's wild. They add vitamin D. Oh, geez. See, this sounds worse than ever. See, that's, Sandra, that's even more scary. Wow. Yes, have a good swim. Yes, thank you, Cal. What? Wow. Eloise, we need to get together and talk about this. I know it may be different in the UK, but just to kind of, discuss what could be potentially happening in the US, and just, oh gosh, this is going to be the Wild West over here. Oh, Fatty Defense says, when Ozempic got popular, every damn med spa in town. Thank you. Thank you, Fatty Defense. Yes. Yes. Now we've got Amberlynn, the face of Gorlworld, one of them out here talking about whatever doctor appointment. We don't know what type of doctor. She out here. Gosh, definitely risky. See, I don't take semaglutide. I'm about to take my advanced pharmacology, which maybe I won't be, and then I obviously do my specialty, which will be more psychiatric medications. But wow. She couldn't even give herself the shot when on Ozempic was in the handy pen. I guess her mom can inject her, or the med spa people will be doing that. Isn't there a rich? Oh, girl. Oh, guy, Cal, this is terrible. There's so much of that stuff on TikTok. It's wild. There's all these hyaluronic acid pens that people inject into their lips and stuff. It's horrific. It is so bad. I still only get a third of my Ozempic refills per order. Right. I know, Nikita. I was talking to somebody about the Wegovy not having enough because of all the med spas and all of these places that suddenly are getting, and obviously if the companies, the sales reps are getting cash from a med spa, that's going to be so much more, those places those sales reps are going to hit those places up for those pharmaceutical companies because they probably, They don't have all the things where they can't wine and dine all the staff to sell the stuff like they do in healthcare systems, where there's actual regulation about relationships between pharmaceutical companies and the healthcare system. There's a lot of regulation about that actually now in the US, especially after all the stuff that happened with oxycodone and all that stuff. They've really cracked down on that stuff now, and they probably getting wined and dined on this stuff, man. Gosh, we're struggling with supply issues on the NHS of the patented stuff and warnings not to get any compounded stuff for prescriptions. Thank you. Thank you, Eloise, for explaining that. I know people think they hear the word compound pharmacy, and I think it almost sounds like, wow, they're making it per order. That sounds so much better. No, not necessarily, because you don't even know what they're using as fillers. Okay? People can have terrible allergic reactions just to fillers used for drugs. And I'm not necessarily knowing what they would use as a filler with Ozempic, but there's often fillers that are used. Have you seen the oral semaglutide tablets getting licensed for it? Oh, wow. I haven't seen that yet. Not here in the US, but like I said, I've only seen it as injection currently. That's all I've seen so far. And I wonder if they think it's those big doses, and then already with how it can influence gastric paresis and stuff, if that would even be worth putting somebody through. I wonder, and then is it fat soluble or water soluble? So where's it being metabolized through? Is it kidneys or liver? See, these are the things I need to get back into school for. There are sketchy areas of medicine. Oh, it gets, some of the things I see. And that's why I just wonder, and then she's got 30-some thousand people watching this. Oh, they're normalizing it. Okay, keep going, Amberlynn.
I'm pretty sure it'll just be like my first appointment will be a simple consultation, but we'll see. So I'm going to call. I'll be right back. Well, darn, there was no answer. So I did leave a voicemail, but I feel confident in this decision because I was debating back and forth, do I want to try this? But my doctor today, he explained some of the science behind it and why he thinks it's a good fit for me. So that actually made me feel a little bit more hopeful towards the situation for sure. But depending on if they call back.
So here in the United States, per the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, Ozempic is only approved for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus. Ozempic is not approved for weight loss here in the United States per the Food and Drug Administration. Do people get weight loss as a side effect of taking the drug Ozempic? Yes. Is it approved for insurance purposes for that? No. Wegovy is the drug that is approved for weight loss in the United States and management of prediabetes and other conditions along with trying to manage weight. The doses is the same drug, different doses. Correct, Eloise? Correct me if I'm wrong. So, who is the doctor that has indicated to Amberlynn Reid that Ozempic was her choice of drug? Is she treating type 2 diabetes? Or is he trying to help this 500+ pound woman lose weight on Ozempic? Because they don't give Wegovy at the med spa, seemingly. They haven't been licensed to compound that one yet. Or is she actually going on Wegovy and she's just calling it Ozempic? Who knows? I would hope she would be clear of what medication. So I'm thinking Ozempic. But what doctor? What doctor is this? She hasn't mentioned if it's connected to the med spa, a telehealth doctor she just found online through an app. Or does she actually have a primary care doctor that she now has managing any of her health conditions, like her lipedema or lymphedema that she speaks of? Because she supposedly has lipedema and lymphedema too. So what medical history has this doctor looked at to make sure this is the right course of action to help this person out? I'm absolutely confused. And I'm a healthcare practitioner. And I'm confused.
Today, or maybe I'll call back. I'm not going to harass them or anything, but I am like kind of impatient when I'm really excited for something, but I know how to have patience. I know they have other clients and stuff they need to worry about, but I'll definitely give you guys an update whenever this moves along. Okay, you guys, so it is time. If you guys remember my new makeup purse that I got, makeup bag, it says essentials on top. This is what I have been using.
What I'm sensing is that whichever doctor this is not through like a primary care. And I don't even know if it's an endocrinologist, because I can't imagine an endocrinologist saying, yeah, just head off to the med spa. It just makes no sense. Just not usually the place we refer the patient to, unless they really are coming in with an aesthetic question. And then you would think they'd be at the plastic surgeon's office. So this, is just, I think she's just trying to lose weight and taking an easy route. And I have no idea. It's just, this is what we get in this day and age. You just get people like Amberlynn making thousands of dollars on YouTube, talking about their drugs, talking about doctor's appointments, and making absolute zero sense. And then making people who already feel confused about the healthcare system here, especially as complex as it is in the United States, even more. And then using up drugs unnecessarily that need to actually go to diabetic patients. So what the F going on here, Amberlynn? Really, seriously.
And it's just like overflowing. Like, it's so cute. I love it, but it's just like not big enough.
Right. I know. And here in the United States, Eloise, just to give you a heads up, you can just go to, like, there's doctors' apps here where you just, get the app, you pay whatever, $45, whatever the money is, to consult with a physician. And hopefully, you can get them to write you a prescription. But it's hard, unless it's a very basic medication, a lot of the times they're not going to be able to write for it. So an online telehealth doctor that you're paying through an app is, how are they going to get your blood work? I think she said she had to go do blood work somewhere at some point. So I'm wondering, does the med spa follow your blood work too? Did she finally get a primary care? What is going on? Just doesn't make sense. She's going around the system. That's what
I like this so much more, and it's cute. Easier to see what makeup I need to use and pull out.
Yeah,
you guys, I have lived in a lot of places. I will say, Oklahoma might be the most moody when it comes to weather. Like 1 minute, okay, it's nice and cool. The sun is out. We're feeling good. Next minute, it's sprinkling and freezing. And I'm just like, I really don't get it. But you know what? You got to vibe with it. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't harass them. Didn't even call them back, not one time. But a few hours later, they called me back. And my appointment is scheduled for the med spa. So yeah, and it's scheduled actually pretty soon. Oh yeah, and by the way,
what a shocker. You can just get into a med spa pretty soon comparatively to a real doctor's office and get your, aesthetic injections. Girl, you have also lipedema, lymphedema. Where is your wraps, your compression garments, your lymphatic massage therapies? We talked the other day about the only thing that these drugs would address is any obese fat that you have through obesity. It's not going to touch the lipedema, lymphedema, girl. You got to do other stuff for that. And, work with your diet. Though, other people, everyone doesn't have great results with everything. But I promise you, it's certainly going to take work on your end. So one thing I've learned over time, it takes work on your own end. Keep going, girl.
Did get that journal
Confused.
that I saw at Walgreens. I thought it was super cute, so I had to get it. But I am about to start taking some antibiotics, and I'll explain more. But right now, I'm actually about to go outside and wait for.
Oh, yeah, especially the med spas, which are often, medical directors are plastic surgeons. Absolutely. And there's all types of plastic surgeons. The plastic surgeon I work with is the director of the medical school, Eastern Virginia Medical School for Plastic Surgery. So he does a lot of not necessarily for aesthetic purpose plastic surgery. I went to him because I wanted to make sure when I got even though I ended up with an infection when I had a surgery to fix my septal deviation and I was getting a rhinoplasty done. So I was doing aesthetic and medical stuff, that I had a plastic surgeon obviously do it. And I went with one of the best in town. That was, the teacher of it here locally. But that doesn't mean that was not susceptible to an infection, even having the best doctor. So it just shows you. And that's why this sort of just popping into med spas and not really having a relationship. She's not going to have a relationship with this medical director. The person she probably was talking to on the phone was the booking appointment person calling her back. It wasn't a doctor. It was just the person making the appointment in the med spa. It's just she's really building us into something. It's so much clickbaits and just none of it makes sense, girl.
My mom, because we're gonna go bingo. I genuinely just love playing the game. You guys know me. I love games. I've always loved games, and it's just fun. So, yeah.
Oh.
Bingo.
Oh gosh, I'm getting bingo flashbacks here. I have no idea if she would take a full course of antibiotics. God, I would hope so. I have no idea. She doesn't ever she's made all this money from YouTube. They could purchase private, health insurance privately or even through, that probably isn't that much. But they never do. They always go to the extreme to stuff. Thank you, Junebug.
Oh, wow.
Telling the landscapers to be quiet. I don't blame you.
Okay, guys, so it is time for questions of the day. First question, what happened to your hernia? Nothing happened to it. It's still
med spas have to have a medical director. It doesn't mean that you'll ever see them. It just has to have a medical director for prescription purposes. But you would go into there, and the likelihood of you actually necessarily hey, come on in, Sensible. That actually seeing them is very rare. He just worked out. Oh God, bingo's wild here in the United States. You don't even want to mess with it. I promise you. I went one time for a laugh. Good Lord, they wanted to kill me because I was so bad, and people actually take it seriously. Yeah. You got necrosis after a surgery with an expert, right? I got an infection too. Luckily, it's not necrosis, but I got. Thank you. She doesn't like the landscapers. All right, keep going. And with your weird medical story, and then we're gonna watch her actually go to the spa.
Chilling. Amber, can you take a clip of yourself with the seatbelt
Okay, she's just doing questions
while your
at
mom
this
is driving
point
to prove the haters wrong, please? I mean, I guess I could. So I'll try to remember to do that tomorrow. Your mom has long hair like you. Has she always had long hair? Actually, yes. We
all
grew
right.
our
Are you
hair
just gonna go
out
through
around
dumb
the same
questions
time.
at this
It was
point?
around when I was like,
Is this just
I'd say about
Q&A?
14 during like the
Okay.
trial
All right.
run to live with my.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to the next video because I really can't stand an Amberlynn Q&A. Let's go to her next appointment because I don't think she talks anymore about the doctors here. Okay. Now she's off to her Ozempic appointment and she's worried about her health.
Welcome to a new vlog. So you wouldn't notice unless I was super close. So hello, sorry for the jump scare. But I have a little yellow down here. I decided to use some of my NYX. It's NYX Epic Wear liner stick. Obsessed. You can't really tell unless you're super close to me. But 9 times out of 10, I am wearing my
I have no idea. None of this is making sense to me. I mean, it does make sense, the respect that Amberlynn potentially talked to a telehealth doctor trying to get something to help her with her weight loss. And maybe they order her labs. That just seems weird because they're not going to be like her primary care doctor over these things. It's good to have access to these types of services. I guess if you do need a medication, but a lot of times, they don't know your medical history. So that it's going to be hard for somebody who's just meeting you over the phone like that to be able to prescribe without really understanding your full medical history. And I think a lot of doctors would not feel comfortable doing that. So I don't know if then that doctor that she called through like a doctor's app was then, not able to really give her what she needed. And then she said, well, I know I used to get it from a med spa. Should I just get it from a med spa? And then potentially the doctor was, well, if that's your option, then I guess that's where your option is. But I'm not going to be able to, prescribe these medications online like this, because I'm sure there would just be a rush of individuals who would be trying to get the semaglutide and the Wegovy through an online doctor like this with no real actual medical history being performed. But I'm sure there are certain limitations of that here in the US, or doctors would not feel comfortable prescribing that way. And so the only option then to get it away from insurance and from a primary care physician or an endocrinologist would be to go to a med spa, which does have a director of medical services, and they do potentially have relationships with compounding pharmacies, and they do have more ability because of licensed personnel to actually administer these injections at a med spa. And it may be that med spas are not able to give the medications for patients to take home, and therefore they are required to come to the facility and pay the $1,200 a month to get the Ozempic or Ozempic equivalent med spa injection, which is very different from being prescribed and you taking those medications home in order for you to administer the medication, because it's come through a doctor, through insurance. Somewhere to $260. Well, and I know that, my friend spends $1,200 a month for, I'm guessing it's the name brand Ozempic here in Virginia. And it's probably dependent on the state too. The more high cost living the state, which Virginia, unfortunately, is a high cost living state, probably goes up like California prices around here, whereas other areas may potentially get lower. Yeah. But they may have to have some type of, not allowing the patient to go home with it, because they're not a prescribing office per se. So like your med spa can't say, here you go take this prescription over to, unless it's maybe if you're actually seeing a plastic surgeon for a surgery, that would be very different, because then they could write you a prescription, for things to do with the surgery. So it just really depends, how involved the doctor is in the med spa. Because some just put their name on the door, and let it run as a business. It's not Ozempic she must be doing the generic then. And we talked about some of the issues that can come from that compounding pharmacy at the moment and how they add extra things. So, I mean, is this really what we want to be teaching people about weight management? Probably not. There's so much that looks problematic to me here. That just seems so problematic. Well, yeah, that's something I'm going to definitely be trying to learn more about. Not that I'm in that area of specialty anymore, because I'm not a med spa. I'm not an aesthetic, a nurse practitioner. So I'm curious to know more about this, because it's opening all sorts of interesting doors, take it every day. But diabetics have been calling that it's diabetic for weight loss injected once a week. I'm not sure about their dosages, if it's every day. I know some have, I guess, depending, some have been prescribed weekly injections. I definitely, and I'm sure I'm not sure about daily. I've never heard it as a daily, but that does not mean that it's not. Because everybody may be prescribed slightly differently based on their medical histories. Ugh. They don't. Amber said, I don't trust anything Amber says. Okay. Amber is no genius over here. They prescribe brand or compounded, and you do take it weekly at home. Depends on the clinic. They usually want you to get right. Okay. Well, I'm glad that they're watching people's blood work, but they're not treating for diabetes. Okay. A med spa cannot treat somebody for diabetes type 2. Okay. They're watching blood work probably to make sure that they're not, potentially taking the A1C too low. I'm not sure. I thought it was a weekly. Wegovia's weekly. How often do they take Ozempic? Is it dependent on the patient? Because everyone, and this is another thing for medications, people. Just realize that where you may be prescribed is not the way somebody else could be prescribed, and they may be on exactly the same drug as you. Okay. No, I'm not trying to sound like condescending, but that's why these blanket conversations with people who have no medical expertise on YouTube can be dangerous. Look at how much misinformation, Miss Amberlynn. We've talked about generics. We've talked about compounds. We've talked about what med spas can legally do as a medical facility. Okay. Think about it. It's medical spa. It's an aesthetic treatment place. They're not going to manage somebody's chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay. That's not their job. They're trying to get you pretty. Nothing else. Okay. You take 1 milligram of Ozempic a week. I'm guessing that's prescribed by a doctor. And I'm not, I just, I know this between my friend Lauren, who does semaglutide racket. She's right. Oh, girl. Oh, it's a lot of money. I promise you. Those aesthetic nurses, and then they get bonuses. You sell up. There's a lot of money in aesthetics. Okay. I even was at one point, because I had a lot of interest, having worked for a plastic surgeon in the past, I did have, a lot of interest in the aesthetic side, and I knew it was good money. Not very difficult work. You're not dealing with all the crazy that you might be having to deal with in a hospital with trauma cases and, really sick people. I mean, heart attacks. I mean, just people with nasty wounds, festering. I mean, fungating tumors from cancer. Just some rough stuff, you don't ever see that on, ER or Grey's Anatomy, because they don't show real medical crap going on. They show some people in a, all dressed up. Daily. Okay. Thank you. It's so confusing, I think, for people, because it's all different. FDA has received adverse event reports for patients. Oh yeah, using compounded. I'm not shocked at all. I am absolutely not shocked. Patients should not use compounded drug if an approved drug is available to treat the patient. Absolutely, Pat. I mean, I wish Bella was around too to get American side. Luckily we got Eloise getting the British side. So I'm sure the same stuff's going on over there. Pardon me. And in other parts of Europe. The landscapers are out popping up my pollen today. No, correct. Correct, Sandra. And Eloise can talk more about that. Oh my God. Oh my God. See, this is why I had to get a hell of acute care medicine. Think about this for an endocrinologist at this moment, man. And the pharmacist having to manage this too. And all of these people, it's like the Wild West now. Gosh, yes, it's a wild west. It's the Wild West. Active ingredients. Yes, I was talking about, the fillers, even the fillers, man. And then you want to know if anything in here is going to interact with anything else you're taking. Oh my goodness. Disregard warnings. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, they'll disregard warnings to take a drug, but tell them to like cut down on some damn ice cream. They'll pitch a fit. Aren't we crazy as people? No, I don't mean the word crazy like wild, I should say. I'm not going to be using that C word like that anymore, I promise you. We are wild and interesting beings as human beings, which is why I am going into psychiatric mental health nurse practice. Pat Ray, I switched my major. Verifying that, yes, it's a proper doctor. Oh, you're endocrinologist, also a metformin. You see? Thank you, Nick. I'm sure most people are actually seeing real doctors around here. You're done pasting. Well, I appreciate all that extra information. The wildness, the fin. I feel like, oh gosh, I'm back in. It's even more wild than the fin days, because we actually have, real uses for this medication for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. And we're not treating our diabetics, folks, because the med spas are going just insane. There's so many med spas, and every one of these doctors, I promise you, they're not going to lose out on making this money. There are some practitioners who seriously are in it for the money. So unfortunate, but true. And it's expensive as it is here in the US, and how much people enjoy looking rich. Obviously, it's always going to be tempting. Rich and skinny. There's nothing as something as skinny feels, or something. Somebody said that terrible phrase. All right, Amberlynn, keep on going, girl. We gotta listen to her finally getting. She's worried about her health, and she's off getting Ozempic, but I doubt we're gonna hear about the Billie Eilish, because I really don't care. Okay, keep going, girl.
Makeup for myself, not for other people. It's for me to feel good. But I do recommend any sort of NYX eyeliner, no matter the color, no matter if it's liquid or pencil. Every single one I've ever used has been perfection. Okay, so as you guys know, all of these poetry books behind me were recently put in alphabetical order by yours truly, because
including poetry by none other than Gabby Hanna, the poet laureate herself.
I am trying to read every single one, rate them, and see which ones I gravitate towards. Like, what is really like my favorite type of poetry? I literally love poetry so much, and I kind of just want to like talk more about it and like recommend ones that I love. So I want to say I've actually already read about maybe a quarter of these. And the first one that I'm choosing to read is actually one that I have had for a very long time, and one that I've already read. It's Dandelion by Gabby Hanna. So I read this years ago. Have not read it since.
Semaglutide isn't going to become like fen, because there are actual real medical uses for it. But there are so many side effects too. And that's why, and just, my friend who took it through a med spa, promise you, she had terrible side effects. She's somebody who works in the healthcare industry, so she kind of understands it. But the side effects are rough. And if you overdo it and overtake it, and we were discussing this the other day, Eloise, if you want to watch our live stream that we did dual together, discussing weight loss drugs and lipedema primarily, which is what Amberlynn has also said she has, then these drugs aren't really going to touch that type of fat. And also, if you continue using them or misuse them over time, you can get gastroparesis, which means your stomach just starts to slow up. And that causes all sorts of emptying issues. And your gut is like your second brain. It needs to function well. So there's a lot that has to be considered. It's not just the magic pill. I don't think it's going to be illegal, but I certainly would be wanting to make sure that whatever medication or drug that I was taking at least did not have compounds or fillers or other things that could be adverse effect with other things. You know, you want to make sure the people that are prescribing these, you know, are aware of everything else you take. And it just, you know, I think we need to also be able to understand this is not a change from having, you're still supposed to combine this with diet and exercise. You're not able to just now take this magic shot or magic, you know, if it becomes an oral, you know, magic pill or whatever, and suspect that you could still eat at the quantities and the types of nutrition that these people have chosen. It's not carte blanche to continue eating crap and not exercise and maintain good blood sugar and weight loss. It's not the magic pill. And I think we need to be very clear about that too. You know, it's not that it's going to become illegal at all. Unfortunately not. It's probably going to get worse before we get it better controlled. It's just going to get wild because, you know, Novo Nordisk is a Danish company. They're not here in the US. So I don't know if they felt, you know, the things didn't fall under the same, I guess, patent rules. I don't know. I definitely feel like I need to learn about it, but learn about it through like the Journal of American Medicine or Academy or JAMA or somewhere rather than some random YouTuber, even though I'm a random YouTuber at the moment. If you know what I mean? Because I don't think this YouTube is the place where I'm going to get the information I want.
So just a little update on my poetry journey. This is the one that I will be starting soon. And it's like I already have some more poetry books
that's terrible.
in my Amazon cart that I want to buy, and I'm just like, Amberlynn, you
Awful.
need to like read some first.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just putting on my rings because I realized I didn't have them on. So I do have an appointment today. I also have one tomorrow. Tomorrow's I'm actually like really nervous for. So the appointment that I have for today is actually
well, yes, absolutely. That everyone is going to be happy that the compounds are available, especially if we're not able to get the supply. Obviously, but that we just always have to be cautious about compounding pharmacies just because there can be issues sometimes with fillers or other things that they may not disclose that could be allergic to people. You hope that's not the case. Okay. But hearing the word compounding, you have to think who is actually the manufacturer. So we're glad it's there, but we also want to make sure that regulatory standards for medication, you know, is there too. That part is also there. And there can be that gray area with compounding pharmacies sometimes, even though it sounds great, you know, that they're making it right there and then. But there is always caution with everything. And that's just, you know, and it's just the unfortunate side of medicine and why this is such a hot button topic. You know, it's a real hot button topic. And how this person presents it here going to a med spa and how she presents her health. There's so much to unpack. A lot. It's complex. Very complex.
Me possibly going back on like an Ozempic type of deal. So I originally called this med spa and I was like, yeah, I want to go on semaglutide. And they were like, well, there's also Mounjaro, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. So what this appointment really is going to entail is they're going to get my labs. And then I think we're just going to like decide which one I want to do, probably prices and like all of that good stuff. So that is like what I'm doing today. But tomorrow's appointment is more like on the serious side of things.
Right.
Tomorrow's appointment has to do with the reason why I've been seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of drugs. Like, yeah, there's a lot of patents that are gonna be coming up. And that's great because then we can get generics. But then we're like, where is that generic being manufactured? You know, sometimes when you move off of a actual name brand, you go to the generic. The fillers they may use in those drugs could be different, and you could be allergic to that filler suddenly, and find that you don't get the same, that you have a problem with the drug. It's not actually that drug. It's that person, that company that manufactures that drug and whatever they're using, not, and so it's good for your pharmacy then to say, hey, the manufacturer that we're now getting your drug supply from has changed. So they're using different fillers than the other people because they don't all produce them like it's, there are differences, believe it or not. And people can have like reactions just because they change the manufacturer and the manufacturer uses a different filler. Shocking, but true.
Doctors. And I know in my last video, I said I was going to tell you guys what it was about, but then I realized towards the end of the night, I really just didn't want to like rehash it. And even as I stand here, I don't really want to, but I'm definitely wanting to speak about it. Obviously, I'm wanting to get it out. It's like heavy on my chest, heavy on my heart. I'm constantly thinking about it. And that's what I've done. I've been on YouTube for 10 years.
Gosh, I don't even want to know once those patents come up. I mean, I'm glad because I want type 2 diabetics to have good control. What I don't want people to think is it's a excuse for diet and exercise not to be modified, because it's not. It all needs to be with diet and exercise, all of it. It's, and that, if she doesn't change anything like that, then what's the point of taking the drug? That's even with metformin, all of these medications really to treat type 2 diabetes before you're, on insulin pretty much is with diet and exercise. And they never talk about this piece. It's, and everybody, is going to talk about these drugs on every channel, and every person is going to talk about her being on Ozempic. And I'm questioning, how in the heck did she get on this drug in the first place? I'm not bullying her for being on it. I'm just curious, is this the medication that's even going, is this a good use of her $1,200 a month or however much she's paying to the med spa? We don't know. We don't know if she's getting the real medication or if she's getting the compound. We have no clue. We have no clue. We just know she went to the med spa, which means aesthetic purposes. Okay. It's not going to be anything else. Don't even think about her endocrine system, because the med spa not going to deal with that. Okay. They might look at her A1C or something to make sure that her numbers stay within range or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know what blood work they're looking for, because I'm trying to figure out what condition are they going to manage. I'm glad they do take blood work, though. I mean, I'm glad they do. I have to ask my friend what blood work they took from her and for what purpose. I need to go into this further. I've never used these medications.
Told you guys everything, all of like my medical, this or that. So it's like, I want to go back to that. I want to go back to how I used to do things. So it's like my new self and my old self are actively fighting with each other. So I'm just trying to find like a happy medium. I'm trying to put up the right type of boundaries and just like figure out what boundaries do I want for my channel. It's just a lot of conflicting mess up here. And it's just, I'm not used to being so conflicted, because I have been so open for so long about so many things. And it's just like, now that like I'm not that way, it's just hard. And
the thing is, if her A1C was not in range, ethically, that med spa should tell her to go see an endocrinologist. Ethically. Or ask her if she's following an endocrinologist. I mean, because it's not their role to treat her diabetes type 2. If she did have it, that to me is concerning, because that's not their role. And I'm sure they specify that. So that's why anybody talking about her getting it for treatment of diabetes or anything else that people want to talk about in the community, that's not what a med spa could do. If anybody thinks that's what a med spa is, then they're going to be going to the wrong place to get treatment, because it's not a treating facility. It's an aesthetics facility. It worries about how you look physically. They don't, and I'm glad they're monitoring labs. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, but I wonder if everyone has that standard or if it's state by state. There's just, there's also different regulations, I'm sure, that med spas follow. A lot of time, because they are med spas, they do have to follow some medical regulation, like having licensed personnel give injections and stuff. So there are certain things, but other places. I mean, there are people who are literally calling themselves, veneer techs who have never been to dentistry school and are messing in people's mouths. I've seen on TikTok. So it's just people will try to get around actually, anything to get to these medical treatments for beauty standard.
Sometimes I just want to go back to being that person, but it's hard because of the consequences that come with it, which is a lot of speculation and rumors and judgments. It's just, I don't know. I'm just glad that I feel safe enough to stand here and let you guys know that, like, yes, this is heavy on my heart, heavy on my mind, and something I do want to talk to you guys about. And ultimately, like, at the end of the day, I could be okay and I could be worrying for nothing. I don't know. It's just a lot. Now I'm rambling. Okay, guys. So I actually just got back from the med spa and they did, in fact, take my lab work. So I have to keep it in the fridge, obviously.
Okay.
It has to stay cold.
Okay. So it seems like she's being able to take this home. That's interesting. Because I know that my friend always had hers injected at the location. And they took some blood work, but they can't. I don't know if this is just a baseline. What are they looking for? Are they getting her? They can't treat her diabetes, so they can't get an A1C. What blood work are they getting? I'm curious to know because they can't treat her diabetes. It's a med spa. So what labs are they getting? I'm curious. Are they getting a kidney function, a liver function test just to make sure she can, clear these medications without complication? I'm curious which organ it gets, I can't remember, gets metabolized through. If it's liver or kidneys. I need to see if it's fat or water soluble and see which one it would go to. And then, because I have no idea. This is why I don't like this from these people. It's like, what labs do they take for what purpose, girl? Liver enzymes? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I was wondering which one. So they have to maybe watch her liver enzymes? Okay. And I wonder why so many type 2s go untreated. Yeah, I mean, and because they're not an endocrinologist. So they can't use this other than for off-label aesthetic purposes. That's it. And because the FDA doesn't approve this drug for weight loss for insurance purposes. So she's got to, it's very interesting. Not fat or water soluble. I see all my pharmacists are out of here. Next month, when I start my advanced pharmacology, I'm going to get much better on this. I need to do more research. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Zorrel. Oh, showing you some love before I go back to work. I will rewatch later. Well, Missy Zorrel, thank you so much for that super chat. I hope you're enjoying how confused I feel about this journey that Amberlynn is taking. And I'm definitely going to start, I think, we touched a little bit on weight loss with lipedema the other day, which is what I understand. Amberlynn also has lipedema. So that is always curious to me too. And then now the use of these weight loss drugs, especially semaglutide, seems to be very popular. The GLP-1s seem very popular. There are so many ways that people are being prescribed these drugs and how the FDA approves it. Oh my gosh. Horse out the barn. Well, you get that horse out the barn. Kat says it's kind of Joe Rogan and DIY sorts, and it's very hard to regulate. Oh God. We don't need Joe Rogan on this. I mean, it's bad enough everyone in Tinseltown is on it, and I want people to be on the drugs they need. Don't get me wrong. But I'd also like to see Amberlynn treat her mental health issues also. Address some of her eating habits, and rather than just taking what seems to be a route that may not give her the quick results that she's hoping for. So I'm just, this is not the dosage even for weight loss. So I'm just trying to see. Angel God, according to the provided search result, Ozempic is a medication that works by mimicking. Right. Yes, but it's, but over time it can cause gastric issues. And obviously it has effects on other organs because there's no medication that you can take without it having some type of effect. Because that's why you take it. It just may not affect the parts that you just want affected. It might also affect other parts that you don't want affected. So it's just, oh no. Am I going to die when you should? Oh no, please. Science Direct says semaglutide is metabolized through the proteolytic cleavage of the peptide backbone and sequential beta oxidation of the fatty acid side chain. Oh, geez. So it's interesting. That's a very interesting mode of metabolism. Beta oxidation. Wow. That's very interesting. That's got a lot going on. A lot going on. And I know there's a lot about peptides. We're getting very excited about peptides. Yeah, and gastroparesis, she don't want that. Oh, I need to look at I'm definitely going to read a little bit more about semaglutide. I might actually get into the manufacturers stuff. You have it? You have gastroparesis? That's I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Okay, keep trying to horrify me, Amberlynn. I'm just trying to figure out how other people react to this when they, just like, oh, she's at the med spa getting Ozempic. That just makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense because I know why people go to med spas for Ozempic. But Amberlynn, with all of her health issues, to me, it doesn't make sense for her to take this route. And any doctor that said that to me is like, that doctor didn't know her. Because this lady needs to start addressing medical issues, not just pouncing off to the med spa. Oh, Jesus.
But I do have one syringe with some of the semaglutide. I'm just going to call it Ozempic because I found out that it is Ozempic. Semaglutide, however you say it, is literally just like the generic.
Okay, girl, did you get the brand or did you get a compounded semaglutide? Oh, Amberlynn is going to try to explain to us now generic and brand names. Off you go, queen.
Name for it. So I'm literally going back on Ozempic. Yes, I am. Literally the sweetest person, like genuinely such good vibes. We did a lot of talking, a lot of laughing.
Oh, of course, girl, you're going to get good vibes at a med spa. They probably brought you a cup of tea and all sorts of crap too, man. That's what they do at the med spa. Okay? Take it from a person who's med spa'd in her life. All right? Because I've been very fortunate in my time when I was working and was working as a travel RN and making all that travel money back in the day, girl. Promise you, travel money almost like getting up there with influencer money. With here in the healthcare. Why does her hair look 12? Because it's, Amberlynn's a girly pop from Korea. She's got the little like Korean schoolgirl look going because she's in her 30s, If it's in a syringe, it's absolutely not a brand name. Well, they do. I don't know if they produce them in the ready to inject injectables for Ozempic. I've never seen one. I need to look further into this drug. I'm getting ready to go into actually taking my advanced pharmacology class very soon. So my expertise, along with all these wonderful pharmacists that we have in our chat, because Bella must be traveling, because otherwise she's all working. Because usually Bella Italia is here, also giving us lots of information. So I know this is a conversation I'm definitely going to want to keep continuing. Definitely going to get Eloise on here. And I know we kind of touched into Ozempic the other day, but I don't know if we got into the weeds of compounded medications. And I know she's talked about it, but I just feel like I have so much to really learn about this. It's scary. She said she has one syringe for a few days' doses. Yeah. They have injection pens. That's what I thought. Like injector pens. That's what I'm used to with my own thing. So she probably has pre-filled syringes. Is that what I'm seeing? These drugs have positive psychiatric. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kat, you mean you're right. Right. Well, yes, I can imagine they do. So I'm not out of the woods on these drugs. Well, good. I will become more of an expert on these medications, obviously, as I go along in my studies. But now the good news is I actually just get the time to spend studying like I need to, rather than trying to manage a 50-hour-a-week job and my studies, which was becoming really hard, even though I maintained a really good GPA and made a lot of A's. I'm proud to say. But it was becoming more difficult. So I'm excited, and hopefully I will understand more. I love all the medical stuff. Yes. Me too. And I'm excited that I'm going to start specializing in psychiatric mental health nurse practice, because it will give me an ability to hopefully remain sensitive and open-minded about people when they are managing their illnesses, but also understand the piece about where maybe resistance to having an open mind to what is happening to you medically. There's so much going on. I mean, there's just so much. And I'm excited because I'm sure that at some point then I will then find an area where maybe I specialize in certain areas of my mental health practice. And so I'm excited. I'm very excited. Oh, or maybe that's good news, but I guarantee it'll play a huge role in psychiatry in the future. It affects the brain's reward systems. Yes, how fascinating. It's going to be, yes, because this will be a whole new area that obviously is going to introduce a whole new class of drugs into the psychiatric area. Wow, fascinating. I find it fascinating. Okay, Amberlynn, because, let's let Legend here, Gorlworld's queen, tell us about these drugs, because she knows so much as she goes in to everything.
A lot of just like vibing, and I loved it. She just made me feel really comfortable. So she took my blood and she's going to check things like my kidneys, my vitamin D level, just random things like that. And she doesn't want me to actually start Ozempic until
kidneys and vitamin D levels. That's interesting. I wonder what the vitamin D levels have to do with prescribing this medication. And is she on the brand name Ozempic, or is she just on a compounded generic semaglutide? I'm curious. I'm curious as to why a med spa is looking at some of these vitamin D levels. I guess it would show immunity support, bone health, maybe. I'm getting more curious now, because I don't work, obviously, in the world of med spas. That's not what my area of specialty has been. But I know what goes on there.
Gets the lab results back, and then she calls me and lets me know I can take that syringe. Then she wants me to be on that syringe for about 4 days and just let her know how I feel. So then we know if I should buy like a whole vial of it and continue on with the journey. So I'm really excited. It's a pretty penny. It is a pretty freaking penny. Like,
why are you not excited about, actually treating your lipedema or lymphedema, or excited about getting a real doctor as a primary care to help you take care of some of your medical issues, or excited to actually, eat correctly? But you're excited to spend $1,200 because you think this is the easy fix. I think that's what you're excited about. Because you couldn't get the weight loss surgery wherever before, because supposedly the whole of Gorlworld ruined your ability to get weight loss surgery. I don't know what message you're trying to give out here, Amber, but it doesn't seem like a healthy one, potentially. I don't know if this is taking a grip of your health. It just seems like this is not a great use of your money, because you don't have a history of maintaining compliance with these drugs. So why spend the money? Maybe you need to figure out why you're not compliant with stuff as you take these medications. I just think that this is not a great message. And this is problematic that you make enough money on YouTube that you can now go waste it at a med spa. Because that's what it feels like it's going to happen to me. I'm glad they're getting some blood work. At least you'll get some blood work out of it. But they obviously are going to make sure that you're not in bad health before they risk their licensure over there. Because they don't want just any old sick people showing up trying to get drugs through a med spa. They don't want that on their hands. They don't want to get sued if something happens to you. We're in the United States here, girl. You know what it's like.
Why does it have to be so expensive? I don't know. I'm sure there's a million reasons, but I'm just like, God, I forgot that I have my purse on. Oh my God, I just remembered. Some of you are going to love this. I forgot my sunglasses in the car. So I probably won't be getting them. Oh wait, actually I see my mom tomorrow. So I'll be getting them back tomorrow. But you guys be hating my sunglasses on my head.
I was about to say, they must be single use.
I kind of think it's cute. So yeah, as of right now, we're just waiting for my lab results so I can take that syringe, have it in my body for like 4 days.
See, that's what, if they don't know if she's got the labs, why would you already have the medications? Wouldn't you want to have labs, get the labs done before? See, this is where it'd be different from healthcare. There's no way that they'd already send you home with that stuff and then wait for lab results and then turn around and say, oh, sorry, you spent $1,200. You can't take it. That's just what? I'd be peed as a person if I spent that and then had the drugs and then was told not to take them because my labs weren't right. I mean, I'm glad they're getting labs. Don't get me wrong. But that's where you can see that's a business and not a healthcare facility. Okay? She went to a business, which is a med spa, which does have a medical director. Okay? Because you have to have a medical director in order to even get the compounded pharmaceuticals. You have to have, even if you had a physician's assistant working there, and unless the nurse practitioner is in a state which allows independent practice, and a nurse practitioner could then be the director of the medical spa and right under their license, then the only other person would be a medical director, like a physician. Because PAs can't go out into private practice like that, at least not in Virginia. I don't know for other states. But certain states, like I think there are states where once you get that nurse practice license, you are able to independently work as a practitioner. Other states, you may have to work under somebody for a certain number of years before you can go independently practiced. Just depends. So that's, to me, already says it's a business. So she's not gone, like, the way she talks about this is, so misleading to people who take this medication for the management of type 2 diabetes and need to get their insurance to approve it. This is completely like Hollywood aesthetic route. And the reason why these people were nice to you, Amberlynn, is because you went to a med spa, girl. Okay? They're going to be nice to you because you're spending usually thousands of dollars at these places. Okay? And they get nice little, I promise you, it's a lot of money to be made. It's hard to walk out of a med spa and not spend $1,000. I promise you.
I go back and purchase I think it's 7 weeks worth, but that's only if I do the 0.25, which after about 4 weeks, she said I can go up to 0.50. Anyways, it's just a lot. It's a lot of information at once, but I'll take you guys on that journey. Just
promise you, Sir Austin, they're not giving any samples of anything from a med spa, and you're going to pay for that. They may have, but that's the thing. That's how you know it's a med spa, because a doctor's office, before anything would be prescribed, they would do lab work. The doctors would look at their labs, and then the prescriptive choice would be made. Here, they have already sold her the drug. So it could be they could make a phone call and say, oh, sorry, your labs are bad. Don't touch that. And she still would be on the hook for that $1,200 and that appointment that she had. The lab work was probably included into that. I'm not saying it's $1,200. That's just the price that I'm familiar with here. She said it was a pretty penny, so I'm guessing it's getting up there. And then they'll turn around and say, sorry, we can't, I wouldn't take that medication. I mean, do they wait for further lab work? It's a med spa. It's a business. They don't care. So if they got your money, they got your money. It's just whether or not they're going to continue to give you that medication or not based on her labs. Because they don't want to get sued.
I took you that much on the journey last time. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little nervous.
Yeah, it's not a sample.
Ozempic did work for me last time. I did have unpleasant symptoms, but it's I just feel like my overall health.
Did Ozempic work for you last time though, Amberlynn? Did it though? Because you didn't stay on the drug. And your health is back to wherever it was. Let's just stop the nonsense out your mouth, girl. You just want a quick fix because you can't do it. You already said you messed up on your diet because you can't fix the mental component that you need to actually address. You need to sit down and you need to start figuring out if the therapist or the doctor is going to placate to what you want to hear. Because until you can actually understand that you need to be a responsible adult with accountability, then you're never going to hear from a practitioner. You're going to keep going to places where you spend money because they're going to kiss your proverbial backside, girl. Because that's what they do. You're acting like, you're brand new in this. And I can promise you, I've had experience because I'm not ashamed to say I've spent money on aesthetic medical treatments. So I know exactly how it works. I used to work for a plastic surgeon. I saw the difference between him doing his schmoozing for his private patients that he would do his faceless for, and then his less smoozy when he was just dealing with the patients coming in through insurance purposes. Okay? There was even a different place where these people sit in the office. The fancy chairs are for the private pay. The standard chairs, that's where you put yourself if you're with the insurance. Okay? Just grow up, Amberlynn. Grow up.
If I lose weight.
Sorry.
And we all know Ozempic helps people greatly. So I'm willing to deal with a few unpleasant symptoms, but the lady at the med spa literally said that she will guide me through and help me with all that. So yeah, I just feel really positive. So
why through a med spa? Oh, I feel so positive because they kissed my ass. Ridiculous. Girl, see real physicians. Get your problems taken care of. I give this a month. Let's see how long, and that she wants to keep spending the money on this or doesn't see the, 300-pound weight loss that she's anticipating or starts to feel sicky in the tummy. Let's see how long she lasts. Let's see how long this excitement lasts. And then let's see if she actually gets her together and go see real practitioners. Or she just gonna knock out this clickbait nonsense crap. And unfortunately, because she's probably getting more views, she's probably being able to pay for the goddamn med spa now. Well done, YouTube. Well done.
Yay. Y'all, this Oklahoma sky is really hitting the spot for me. It looks like cotton candy. Y'all, I'm a literal mess right now. And I have both my AirPods in. I don't think you guys have ever seen that before because it's never happened.
No,
Trust me.
no
I only
refund.
ever wear one at a time. I can barely.
Refund? Absolutely not. That's why they sold her the drugs. That's why they didn't just do lab work ahead of time and charge her the $100 for the lab work or however much it cost to run some labs to make sure her, her liver are not all messed up, and whatever the vitamin D. What are they going to do? Start prescribing her vitamin D for vitamin D deficiency? I mean, everyone in this country, I'm sure she's vitamin D deficient. I put my money on that. Amberlynn being vitamin D deficient? You know what? Does anybody want to put a Vegas bet on with me for her deficiency in vitamin D? Because the way this lady doesn't get outside and her lack of, just, outdoor anything, I put money. She's deficient. I wonder if she went to. I don't think Erica. She does not want to go to they're discriminating. Okay, the doctors discriminate her because of her size. So she's got to go to places where they're not going to discriminate against her. Okay, and tell her, she needs to go to somewhere where they. You know what? A doctor's office is not the only time a doctor's office is going to turn a patient away is if you're non-compliant with your program. Like you don't show up to your appointments, and that's a lot of appointments not showing up to. Okay. I mean, they will give you more chances than you can shake a stick at. But obviously, if you're a patient and you're not showing up to your appointments and you're not complying with the treatment plan your doctor's giving you, then the doctor is within their right to say that they do not want you as a patient. But you really have, and you will get fired as a patient, But I don't think Amberlynn has ever really had enough of a relationship with a primary care. I think she just tries to go to see weight loss specialists and all of these different people. I don't think she actually understands how to get insurance and how to actually get a primary care doctor and actually start an actual real healthcare journey. She's going to do every fucking, pardon my French, thing she sees, sorry, on TikTok or YouTube or whatever is going to give her the narrative she wants to hear. Because she seems to be very resistant to actually caring for her health by looking at her. And they'll bitch about her health all day long and worry about her health and actually not really take care of it. It's just all clickbait and it's just out of control. Well, you could want your lipase levels, but they may not take that. I don't know what they're going to take. I think that's... I don't know what she's the thing is, it's not a visit with a real doctor. She just went to a med spa. And they're going to see if her liver or whatever is good enough to go. I don't even know why they want her vitamin D. They can't, I don't know. I know med spas give B12 injections and all sorts of crazy stuff. God, people love to go to med spas and get B12 injections and all sorts. I mean, I promise you, we do not need more Gwyneth Paltrow and her goopiness and all of that wellness. Just, oh my gosh. Oh, Dr. Now has fired patients. Absolutely. And he should. Why should you tolerate with a non-compliant patient? You can't lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. She can't stick to anything. No, she can't. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right. Yes. I'm so glad it's working. I'm glad that you've lost weight. I'm hoping your A1C has improved and your blood sugars. I'm sorry for the terrible side effects, which Amberlynn is not going to enjoy. Oh, God, please don't even tell me about Gwyneth's candles, man. Oh, she's horrible. I can't stand her. She's just so... And she doesn't even look good for her age. And I do not want you to be the face of menopause, Gwyneth Paltrow. You've done more to mess up women's perceptions of health than any one person I can imagine, next to Jordan Peterson. He's a Wally. Sorry. Just my
Really
opinions.
hear myself talk, so I'm gonna take that out. I'm wearing something completely different because I changed my clothes. It doesn't matter, but it is still the same day. Billie Eilish came out with her new album. It came out at 11 p.m. my time, and I cried. It was just literally perfection. Her and her brother.
Okay.
The countdown was on.
Okay. Let's see what you
God, I didn't end my vlog. But we're here to do that now. So let's do some of the
I don't care
questions
about
of the
Billie Eilish.
day.
I'm sorry.
I don't really know what to call this segment, so I'm just like questioning the. I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh,
I need to go back to
check
sleep.
that.
First question is, I had ramen for lunch. It was so good. Do you like it, Amberlynn? I was thinking about saying like the usernames with this because so many people think that like I'm making up these questions, which I'm literally not. You can go to my videos
whatever.
and find them if you want. But I also don't know if people want me calling them out or not. So some of that I definitely need to think of doing. But yes, I do love ramen. It's so good.
Okay,
Someone asked, where's the weigh-in? I'm probably going to do a weigh-in like the first day that I do my first Ozempic shot. So she put chicken salad.
I don't know if her weigh-ins are any better than Foodie's, to be honest. I don't know if any of them have a scale that can appropriately weigh them or if they even tell the truth. So whatever on the weigh-ins, girl. Whatever.
On a salad, then put ranch. Was the chicken salad not enough? So my salad came like this. And then here's like the chicken salad part. So I guess I just like...
Why is she eating this chicken salad? What in the Jesus is that? What the mayonnaise mega calorie? Why don't you just have grilled chicken? If you're gonna do keep away from this crap. Jesus Christ!
Put it on top of this.
She's an idiot. Pardon my French. I don't mean to say that. I don't mean to say that.
I honestly wasn't.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to call her that. But she's not very bright sometimes. I will be learning to be much kinder as a mental health nurse. I guess it gets to me because it's just so bad. You're trying to talk about weight loss and you're going on a medication for weight loss because you can't control your weight. And then you throw a mayonnaise chicken salad that looks like it's 1,000 calories just in that bowl. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I guess I've stopped. I'm going to have to learn to understand again.
It was okay. I'm literally just
I'm going to have to learn to understand.
Dressing on a salad. So I wasn't even thinking that I actually didn't even need it. Salad came with the ranch. So in my head, I was like, oh, okay, let's add it all together. It's supposed to be like that. But the salad definitely did not need the ranch at all. Or antibiotics. Is it for a UTI? No. I'm probably going to explain more in my next vlog because that is when I'm going to another appointment and I do want to explain things a little bit more to you guys. She hasn't.
Okay, antibiotics. Somebody did mention that she was taking antibiotics. Is she taking a probiotic, prebiotic? And why are you eating that mayonnaise-y chicken salad? Because that generally would not be recommended on antibiotics. I can promise you. I just went through 30 days of taking antibiotics personally myself. So I just can never understand how these girls are always on antibiotics and they never seem to follow the diet that goes along with wanting to make sure that you don't have any intestinal issues with these drugs. I'm just it's always surprising. Okay. All right, Amber. We need to find out what happened to Foodie, but girl, her just breath of knowledge is going to knock me down.
Shown Twinkie in a while, has she? And I think it's funny that that question is on this particular video because literally the video where this person asked that,
really, Des, antibiotics are going to often take out a lot of your flora when you take antibiotics, okay? It's going to probably take out a lot of your gut flora. So you really don't want to want to avoid taking dairy products often because it can exacerbate issues of the stomach. So you often want to get onto what's known as a brat diet. It's literally bananas, rice, apples, and toast in order to keep the bowels without it like aggravating, especially certain antibiotics can cause all sorts of issues. So you often want to be avoiding the dairy, and you want to be taking a probiotic in the morning before the antibiotics, so you don't lose all the good gut flora out of your stomach. It's not advised to eat spicy foods or to eat anything that would be considered to be rough on the stomach. And that's why often people don't finish the course, is because they start to get gastric issues, or they may start to feel better. Probably more, especially as we get older, probably getting it more into the gastric issues. But yes, you should try to be very judicious about a diet on antibiotics in order to ensure that you can take the course successfully without having gastric problems. Because it is going to literally, if you take them long enough, it is going to take out your good gut flora as well as anything bad. I mean, it's just, it's working on your nose maybe for an infection, but it's still going to have effects elsewhere. So I would recommend, always trying to make sure that you're having a very plain diet on an antibiotic. I would not say, I would get off the spicy and the dairy. Those are the two things you want to avoid. So yeah, it's important. She's probably just tasting the mayo and the dressing. How are these girls, they're just not tearing up their stomachs constantly?
Show Twinkie.
Just what antibiotic?
All right, last question is, how many journals do you own? Would you ever share them all in a vlog? Sure, I'll show them now. Okay, so these are all of the journals that I own. These are the ones that I have not written in.
Yeah.
These are the ones that behind on my journaling, because I do journal first on my MacBook.
Okay.
That's how I've been doing it for these last few years, because I type quicker than I write and my brain works really fast when I'm journaling. So it's easier for me to just get it out really quickly on my MacBook, and then I write it down in my journal, which is honestly so relaxing to me. For a lot of people, it's weird and confusing, but for me, it is honestly the best journaling process I have ever had. It's relaxing, it's therapeutic, and it truly has helped me be more in tune with myself, especially as of recently. Anyways, I know a lot of people don't really care about the journaling, so I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna end this vlog. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Oh, okay. Let's see where Foodie is. No, stop.
I don't care about the journaling, so I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna end this vlog. I'll see you guys in the next one.
It's me.
Bye.
I'm seeing me live. Oh, okay. Okay. Somehow I came up on myself. She clearly has a lot of time on her hands to do that. Well, especially if you have two places to journal, Sir Austin, like you got time to go on your computer and journal and live in your journaling. Oh, wow. Let's see if Foodie's come back. Sorry, I don't know how I managed to get to myself. That was embarrassing. Well, I see that Neo Tarot did a reading. I love to catch up with Rose Thorne's reacts, I have to say. Let's see what Foodie got. Let's see if Foodie's done anything. Let's see, because she could just be like wanting to create enough of a clickbait to get people back to her channel. But this is a time where she's getting towards the end of the month now, and maybe she feels like she made enough money and she doesn't have to go hard anymore. Who knows? Because, she would be seeing what she'll be getting soon from her pay, I guess. Who knows? Let's see if she has anything new. So her videos. Nope. She's just at her. Let me try to share this, guys. Other than just me and my crazy wild hair. It looks like it needs humidity control. Hey, Catherine, come on in. We're kind of getting towards the end over here, but come on in. I haven't seen her on. Oh, on the sock account, Shelly? Ooh, yeah, I know. I haven't had her come in as, oh, please don't put that on me. Or the foot. I almost lost it when she fell the other day, when she slipped. if you were, I wasn't on camera, which I'm trying to get slowly back on camera, but she did come on. She did make me get scared. Oh, hey. Oh, did I get one from Missy too? I did. I did get this one. I did. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. And I'm curious to know who got all the gifted memberships from Weena Maria Leah, who is on a national holiday in Canada today and stopped on in. Well, she definitely terrorized those camels and one spat in her eye. So we know she got spat at. Let's see if she has anything in her lives coming up. Just the 4-day-ago swim with Salah. Anything in her community post? 3 days ago. She said, I also love this unfiltered pic of me. If you're seeing this, I wish you all a positive day. Girl, you are so swollen on this side. And unfiltered, I'm not sure, because your eyes look like they're still filtered, because your eyes aren't usually this large. So I don't know about that being unfiltered. Okay, that's what she has there. Let's sadly go over to her Chantel and Salah, or Salah and Chantel. Let's see if they've got anything going on. I always wonder when she gets these absences, is she trying to cause drama, because she needs to get something to her channel because everyone's been bored with her lately. And more interested in Amberlynn's now, wild health journey over to the med spa, and glitter and lasers is even coming up, and Alexandra's even making an appearance again. So she's going down the Gorlworld sort of ladder of people reacting to her. And then this is first time swimming as a Muslim in Kuwait with my husband. Okay. So she uploaded an old Thailand video 5 days ago. They had, last time was a month ago, Salah walking around Kuwait. And then 8 months ago, wanting to do a Q&A. That was it. So she's got nothing going on. She needs attention. Yes, I'm wondering if it's, to come back with, a sad story, health clickbait, a festering foot, a new endocrinologist, a new medication, a new doctor's appointment, something that obviously we know that she could not be addressing in Kuwait because of the fact that she is not a resident of the country of Kuwait, and she is there on a tourist visa. And so when you are in that situation, you generally cannot have a primary care physician or a specialist. So the fact that, Foodie wants to always give this impression that she's got all of these medical professionals caring for her in Kuwait is an absolute lie. It is a lie. She is a tourist. She may be able to stop into a clinic for an urgent issue, but she is not under a doctor's care. You cannot be. She's a tourist. Just don't understand. Oh, thank you, Erica. Bringing medical insight to the madness at Gorlworld. It is insane. It is so insane. And then, unfortunately, the insanity gets compounded in my mind because there's so many people who are experts. And I obviously putting parentheses. And I don't want to be harsh on people. But if you're going to address and talk about people's medical issues continuously, I'm glad people preface they're not medical experts, then don't talk about the medical stuff then. Keep away from it, because you actually muddy the waters with your lack of expertise. Because you don't know when your audience is coming with just their personal anecdotal stories, or, what is, because there's everything. I'm getting all sorts of information from all sorts of places, but I know where then I go and look for my evidence and my information. And people in the chat have me thinking about all sorts of things about compounding pharmacies, all of, different med spas, all of these different things. Just so much. But everybody is definitely going to use medicine, the word Ozempic, all of these things are such clickbaits, and people feel very comfortable when they feel that, okay, so this person's going through this. I relate because I'm going through this. I feel comfortable with this content. And it's just like, please preface it that you have no expertise, that you are using it to gain views, that you are using it to even bully people somewhat about their health. To me, sometimes it's very bullying, because you're negatively speaking about somebody taking medications, sometimes being on a health journey, having failed a health journey, having failed a weight loss journey. They do it all the time. And to me, it's why I'm here in some ways. And I try not to be irritated, but I do get irritated sometimes, Amberlynn, because I'm like, gosh, girl, this is the information you're putting out here. And you have such a large platform, and it's so dishonest how you give the information. You're not saying, don't like regular doctors. You just say doctors discriminate. It's like no sense of accountability or responsibility. Fatty to Fed says, she may have a bit, she will play it up and exaggerate every ounce. Yes, she's going to pull out, and I just don't know. Shelly Daly says, I hate the misinformation the girlies put out. I can't stand it. Anna and her lipedema journey is irritating at the moment, because she's just, basically thrown her hands up. I need surgery. That's the only way to fix it. Amberlynn, I can't fix my, my weight issues. I've got to take this drug now. And she's young. These aren't people with long-term chronic conditions needing medical care, like many in this chat. These are often young people looking for quick solutions because they don't want to do the hard work in their care. And we are a quick solution society. We love it to be quick. I've had patients come in with diabetes type 2, and they're the early stages where they could still, with diet and exercise, potentially go back to not, managing the disorder. You'll never be free of it once diagnosed, but at least manage the condition. And they've said, isn't there a pill I can take? People want the easy route. They want to be like easy. As a species, we like it to be easier. And it's such a bad rhetoric to give. Anyway, Fatty Defense says, I've traveled abroad a lot and I've had to get medical treatment a few times. It's very different than if you live there. And that was with travel insurance, which she is too stupid to have. Yeah, I don't think she gets any travel insurance. So she doesn't have anything. Probably $1,200 for 4 months. That's roughly what I hear the deals on generics. Okay, because it would be $1,200 for 1 month of the real stuff. Because I know that's what my friend played here in Virginia Beach. Because my friend told me quite clearly she pays $1,200 for that. I'm not going to tell which friend, but my very good friend. Yeah. Discriminate equals don't tell. Yeah. She doesn't hear the things she wants, which she gets to hear from the med spa. Oh, yeah, we're going to get this girl. She loves that. Des says, thank you for saying that. People act like GOMPs are dangerous and evil and shame people for taking them. You're welcome, Des. I don't think we should shame people. I hate that. That's why I dislike all this Ozempic clickbait and using it against almost these folks, because that's not how we should be presenting it. And it's unfortunate because we have, you know, celebrities and just people that just want to criticize people for taking care of their health even. And I just think we need, there's a lot of, you know, and then Amberlynn is not helping with the story or the narrative about the drugs because she's so willy-nilly and she's so non-compliant. It makes it almost seem like these drugs are not real medications taken seriously for true and genuine health conditions. So I don't want to shame anybody for being on these meds. I'm upset that people who need these meds aren't getting the access because of it being used so aesthetically. You know, I don't know why everybody and their dog seems to think I need another vitamin D test. It's a racket. Yeah, the only person who needs to take your vitamin D, Kat, is your doctor once a year through your insurance. And it should potentially be paid for, I think, at a certain age. You may not even have to pay for it out of pocket. So I would, you know, I don't think I want everybody getting into me and trying to tell me I need this, that, and the other, unless you're my primary care and you know everything about my medical history. No. Mrs. Muerta says, I paid very little for travel insurance in the EU and about 3 times the price for Morocco. Absolutely, because potentially either the healthcare is more costly because it's more privatized or potentially more risk of getting illnesses, I'm guessing, on travel. So I'm always interested, but I'm sure there's an algorithm that the insurance industry used to say this country has higher risk than this for, you know, need for travel insurance. But yes, it's smart to have, especially as we get older. You just never know what's going to happen, you know, and that unfortunately when you're young, you think nothing is going to happen. And when you get older, you understand that things can happen. And it's better to be prepared because you don't want the out-of-pocket costs. And that's why Chantel seems so immature, because she's 40 this year. She's turned 40. And she rolls around talking about going to Japan and all these places like she's a 20-year-old sitting at home. It's wildness to me. Shelly says, I live in New Zealand, so it's all in the public system. Oh, gosh. Don't tell me I'm jealous of all you people in New Zealand. New Zealand is such a beautiful country. Oh, it's definitely one of my bucket list places to visit. I really would love to go to. I had a friend of mine who was in New Zealand for work for a while, and the pictures were just fantastic. And everybody I've ever met from New Zealand is super nice, just like in Canada. So, not that I don't love my own country here, because I was born in the USA, man. But we're wild here in the United States. And I'm not going to say that. We're wild here. Your sister can't get her Trulicity and had to switch to Ozempic. You know, and it's hard when people have to switch meds. That's hard. Sometimes these meds, you know, don't do the same. It's hard on people, man. It's hard. And it's hard because you have to take time off of work and go see the doctors. It's hard, man. It's hard. You know what? Amberlynn, she's got all the time in the world to go see real doctors. All the time in the world. She just makes lousy vlogs. I mean, her vlogs aren't even good. You know, she's just been doing it for so long and people watch for the just whatever with Amberlynn, but she's boring as paint drying, really. Oh my God. Mrs. Werther said I had an emergency detached retina. If I was abroad, I would have been screwed. Travel insurance is crucial. My Lord, I hope you are okay. Oh, you know I will. You know, the minute I could get to this, I hope you're okay, Mrs. Werther. That is so scary. Oh my gosh. Anything with the eyes, the eyeballs. I don't know. That's one area that I just, you know, always feel. I used to remember having to put eye drops in people's eyes. The eyes, that's one area I'm just like, whoa. It's like, oh my gosh, bless your heart. I hope you're better. Catherine says, come on down. So does Shelly. Oh my gosh. Really? They need nurses? Well, I'm training Shelly to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So I don't know if you guys use us down in New Zealand too. Thank you, Lord. Yes. Almost went by. Yes. God, I can't imagine Foodie Beauty with her uncontrolled, unmanaged type 2 diabetes and her potential of having retinopathy and a detached retina and going absolutely blind. So I would be petrified if I was her. I would be absolutely petrified. I wonder if she got some type of eye infection from that camel spit or took a toe out on that slip and fall. Because she wouldn't even feel it if she has neuropathy. I mean, I'm not even joking, which is why she maybe only slightly grimaced. But she probably that slip could have been actually much more painful for her than she actually indicated because of the fact that she has neuropathy and may not feel things quite the same way. She looks like she has a wonky infected eye. Yes, she does, unfortunately. And that because she potentially the diabetic retinopathy is and that microvascularization that happens with that. That's what happens. It's like you get more and more little veins, little vessels growing and attaching themselves to the retina of your eye. And then over time, those veins start to detach and pull the retina and will detach it. And that's what happens with the diabetic retinopathy. And it's one of the leading causes of blindness in the globe. So it's nothing to be messed with. I mean, it's very serious, apart from her lack of dental care. I mean, I could go on all day. And obviously, one of the biggest areas that she does not address is her mental health. She is just, I wonder about that camel too, when it spat in her eye. Because I had somebody who wrote a very good commentary on, if you go back, I think I might have even pinned it. If you go back to my old video about her getting hit by the camel a while back ago, when she was last time out with the camels and she got kicked by it, there was a lady who worked in zoonotic work and left a really detailed description as to why it was so dangerous to be near those animals and then just the potential of problems that she could get from touching these wild camels out there and the different zoonotic disorders and diseases that she could expose herself to. And she already has a fragile immune system with all the other different disorders she has going on. So her immune system isn't anywhere near what it should probably be like. So she had that skin infection. Right. And then a camel, and then she slipped down the stairs. Hey, come on in. We're actually just finishing up, so you might have to catch us on the replay. But come on in. Come on in. We just finished up here, actually. I've been going for 3 hours, and I've already taken up way too much time. But yeah, I'm planning still to do like a Thursday check-in with all the girls. Looking at what I can do with Alexandra Rodriguez more. And her stuff. I always have to check for copyright music, unfortunately. I am obviously coming back on camera more. I need to go out and take poor Miss Junebug out for a walk. Because she's over here. Dang it. Oh, I know. I look beautiful. Well, thank you. I don't know about all that today. I still have a site of infection. I mean, it's cleared, but I'm scarred at the moment. But hopefully my plastic surgeon they have tricks. So I still have a way to get a little bit looking better. Yeah, little Junebug right over here. Oh, she's on the chair next to me, and I needed to get her out. So I need to, help your workday go by faster. Well, you help my workday go by faster too, Sandra, because at the moment, this is the only work I have. And I am waiting for my dog walking sign to come in. Somebody did take my phone number from a little sign that I put up about my dog walking and drop-in services here in the neighborhood. So I'm hoping somebody will hire me. But otherwise, at the moment, I'm becoming a full-time student again and a full-time YouTuber, I guess, while I'm in school, so that I can, potentially keep obviously the interest in learning about health topics and just becoming discerning about when you're watching people, and just even watching reaction channels, just realizing when you're watching a reaction channel, this person isn't a medical expert or this person is a medical expert. And, they're here just because they're having fun and they're just giving a lighthearted reaction to stuff, but I'm not going to get really solid medical information. And they don't really understand all the ins and outs of the complexities of the healthcare system. So they're just giving an opinion. And I just think that is something that if I finish out on this, the girls are problematic, but sometimes the reaction channels, we can stir it up and make it even worse sometimes. And I think I try to hope that it doesn't seem like they're bullying people about their health. But unfortunately, I can just look at a thumbnail and I'm like, do you have the expertise to talk about this? Are you talking about it because you're going to want to start a dialogue about people and their health journeys? Or are we going to use it to criticize somebody's health and just leave it there and, not even be aware that so many people in my audience are on these drugs and now I've just shamed a huge group of people? Because I want to shame Amberlynn or I want to shame Chantel or I want to shame Glitter and Lasers. And that to me is where I always want to, be like, okay, this is really just for entertainment purposes, because otherwise the, information could seem more, like I said, it just, I don't ever want it to be bullying. Have I ever thought about offering tutoring sessions to nursing students? I actually haven't. And maybe that's something I could consider. I certainly could probably walk somebody through the NCLEX pretty well. I mean, I got through the NCLEX in the minimum number of questions first time. So I think I was out in 69 or 70 questions or whatever. So I probably could. That's a good thought. Never thought about that. Never thought about that. I wouldn't even know where to advertise my services. Let me know how your cousin did that, because I've never really thought about doing that, but maybe I definitely could. I know I get a lot of nursing students who come to here because they enjoy the medical talk. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to take up any more of people's time. I've already taken up so much of it. And I just really appreciate it at the school. But see, my college is an online, and it's out of state from where I am at. I'm taking online classes at Purdue. So I'm not even in the state that I'm taking my classes, which is not unusual for grad school here. So I would have to actually go back to, any of my colleges here locally. But yeah, because I'm not there. So I'm not at my nursing college like that. Yes, thank you for making sure you hit the likes. Yeah, oh well, there's a lot of nursing schools in this area. I promise you. If I probably offered for local tuition to nursing students. Oh, yeah, we have a lot of nursing colleges. I don't know, maybe I would even connect with my old nursing college here. But I didn't go to the reunion. So. Yeah, I mean, I am a certified teacher, so I mean, I could technically teach I could easily tutor because I am a teacher by trade too, so I have a teaching certification. Got more education than you can shake a stick at. That's why I shouldn't be like a poor student that I am now. I have too much education. Yes, I do. I have a teaching degree. Yes. I have a nursing degree, a teaching degree, and a year of postgraduate studies. So, like everybody, I'm overeducated and broke as heck. Chantel going around those diseased camels. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and find that comment. Because I had a comment. I mean, if you give me 2 seconds, I'll try to see. Let me go to my channel and let me see if I can find, because I think I want to say I pinned the comment on it because I wanted to make sure that I was able to have people actually see the comment, because it took a long time explaining like what type of illnesses you can get. Okay, let me see. And sometimes I can see the comments. All right. I want to say that I had somebody, I thought I would have pinned this one, but sometimes, oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me share this. Okay. Let me share this real quick and then we'll finish up, because it was the person who specialized in animals. You found it, Ray? Yeah, I'm a creep. Oh, good for you. Let me share this. Okay. So, okay. Why is this not go any further? Why am I not being able to see the full comment here? It said, my specialty is animal and animal keeping, and a lot that comes with it. Behaviors, common zoonotic diseases, symptoms of illnesses in animals, behaviors, animal psychology, and much else. And while I do understand and relate with how motivating it is to be on your feet and move around when you're around animals, I was holding my breath most of the clip because of how unsafe she was standing in front of their chest and putting her face in their face and I don't know why I don't have any more of this comment. Oh, it seems like it got cut here and I don't know why. And I replied, and I know she wrote more, and I don't know why this cut off. YouTube, what is wrong? But she went on to explain further in there about that. And I don't know if it's because it's on my page. Comment is by Amby. Thank you. Why did I not pin that? YouTube glitches. Oh, I hate YouTube glitches. Okay, Amby, thank you. Let me try not to play myself, though. Ugh. Yeah, let's not hear that. Amby. Oh, for jeez. Okay. Yeah, YouTube is a mare. Okay, let me see if I can see this then. Amby. Because I know I had people come in and actually take the time to, and obviously this was a very popular one to respond to. Here we are. Thank you. Now I finally got it. Okay, now it opens up. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Pat. Pat Ray is an expert. Thank you, Pat. Where would I be without you and Angel of Glass and Bella and all you girls helping me get through this? Okay. All right. Here's the rest of the comment. Okay. Okay. Standing in front of their chest and putting her face in their face when the animals don't know her, etc. I have cows that I have bottled raised, and cows are way more docile, I think, than camels, because I've worked with cows milking them, and I still would never stand in front of their chest because flight animals can spook. I will only ever trust my cows to 80% max, since even the calmest animal can be impulsive, in pain, etc. And these large animals have no idea how fragile humans are. The kick that the camel did was mega polite. They can easily kick her femur in two, and she still went back again if they wanted to kick her seriously. Animals, like people, are not always comfortable, okay, with strangers, Chantel, touching their body, especially their face. And she gets right in their faces. There have been camels that killed, and she put the exclamation, or harmed to a great extent, to the point of unaliving somebody, humans, through both kicks and bites. So even though they are friend-shaped, they have sharp canines and are incredibly powerful animals. You need to approach their space with politeness and respect, and don't stand in their flight line in case they spook. To avoid injury, I also recommend researching the species of animal you are going to interact with and their warning signals and stress signals so that you can detect discomfort long before they feel the need to defend themselves against you and harm you. I am so glad these camels were polite and friendly, and I hope they are MERS free, along with other dromedarian zoonotic illnesses. They are very cute. I'm going to pin that comment here because I think that needs to be. I thought I had pinned it at the time, and I don't know why it's not pinned. Something happens. I think sometimes you pin stuff and then YouTube does the weirdo on you. So, yeah, that's that. And that doesn't seem like a good plan for Chantel. So, Onika tells her this is a mean female camel. I don't even know if they really got permission. I mean, I'm hoping they did. I mean, just to be polite, but yeah. So maybe she's got MERS. Or maybe she'll come back with MERS. Who knows? I'm sure she'll be on an antibiotic because she always is. She's a cockroach. Yeah. And then they spat at her and she'll probably go back for more until one just finally really kicks her in the femur and takes her out. Catches a massive break that she doesn't deserve. I know. Yeah, I know that the camel was polite to her. But then, obviously she came back for more and then one spat in her eye. And that still is not enough for her to learn. Don't mess with the camels. You volunteered at a zoo for 7 years? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. Thank you, everybody. Pat Ray, Angel of Glass, Brooke A, Rosebud popped in, all of my moderators who moderated today. You guys know who you are. You know I love you. You know I appreciate you. I'm just waiting to hear in the next few days about my start date for school. So I'm very excited. Yes, if you do want to join, thank you, Weena Maria Leah. I'm excited to see who all the new members are. I'm going to be updating my shout out list. I did do a quick little members live for the best vibes groups, and I know some people have looked at it. I went live, nobody joined me, but I chatted for like 20 minutes about just stuff. So yeah, I have a great rest of your day, everybody. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, wash your hands, just take anything that you see sometimes in the reactor world. If they aren't medical experts, just take it as a pinch of salt. They're just there for entertainment purposes, not even education purposes. They're just there for entertainment. You're not going to learn anything necessarily of medical information because they don't have the licensure to teach anything. So you're just going to be, having like a little bit of a gossip and a little bit of fun, but just, take it as that's what it is. I do see it as a little bit of bullying myself sometimes about people's health, and that's just how I see it sometimes as a practitioner, but it's not to say anything derogatory. It's just be careful. Everybody is like an expert on Ozempic at the moment. Everyone, because it's just everyone's talking about it. But just always make sure, the people who are going to be experts are going to be pharmacists and endocrinologists. Those are your experts, okay? Practitioners, not random people. Now, anecdotal stories are going to give that person's experience on that drug, but it doesn't make them an expert. It just makes them somebody who has an anecdotal story and somebody who's a user. It's very different from somebody who's prescribing it based on a myriad of different reasons for different people, so just always be aware. See, yes, absolutely. And Pat Ray said it's weird YouTube doesn't do notification. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weird because I thought they said they put out notifications to my members that I was going live because that's what they told me. So let me know. I don't know if you have to be signed up for it. So that's what they told me. And obviously I'm taking YouTube's word. Yay! I'm so glad you're back. I hope you're still joining us. I was just thanking everybody for your generous gift today, Marie Leah, and I'm hoping you're enjoying that National Day in Canada. And then Miss Misty, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys don't know how much I appreciate it now, especially I'm a student. And this is now my source of income along with my burgeoning dog walking business. You got 0 notifications. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting because they told me it was notifying people. All right, I gotta look into that. It's not a Gmail promotion folder. No, I don't think so. Oh, thank you, Kat, for congratulating me on my new path. Yes, doesn't it? Not that acute care gerontology did not interest me, okay? But that's, working in a hospital, and if anybody's ever worked in a hospital, oh, look at my hair. I try to get my hair cute today for everybody. If you've ever worked in a hospital, it's intense, and I'm gonna be 55 this year. And I'm like, am I at the pace where I want to be at the hospital pace, because it is a fast-paced environment. And, oh, your notifications are in your Gmail folder. Oh, thank you, Des. Oh, my Lord. Yes, I think they do go there. Oh, yes. Make sure you drop all your stethoscopes and glucometers in the chat today, people, because, Ozempic is supposed to be for diabetes type 2, man. And some sad pancreases, because that's all to do with it. You can't wait? Thank you for congratulating me on school. Yeah, the people said that the only thing I have to do is get my financial piece, like get FAFSA to say, yeah, they'll give me money. And then I just have to start looking for scholarships and for grants and all this stuff so I can survive while I'm at school, so I can actually be a student and not try to be a student and a full-time worker and while taking a health degree. Or graduate studies in the healthcare, because it's too much work. Yeah, I know. It's just too much. It's too much. Yeah, it's too much. Thank you guys for dropping everything and flowers. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to play out my theme tune. I got to think about what tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of sad pancreases for all these girls. Yeah, and we need lots of glucometers. If you haven't had a chance to like this stream before you head out the door, please hit the likes. It helps me up the algorithm, gets more people to come check out my channel, see what's going over here in this community. It is a community of people that really do believe in good medical information. It's only for education purposes and information purposes only. I'm not treating or diagnosing anybody, but I do always say, wash your hands, have a good relationship with a true medical provider, and just be very cautious about what information you find on the web in regards to health. It's the Wild West out there, guys. What can we say? All right, I'm going to plan on what am I going to do for our next live, and I will be catching up. I wanted to work on a video, but I've just been busy. So I do apologize for that, because I'm trying to work on a video so I can exclusively let my members see it first and then release it to the public. So I'm planning on something. I just have to sit down and do it. All right, let me get my brand out. I'm going to quick show a thank you to the members. I'm going to start putting on some theme music so it doesn't sound boring. And I'll see you on the next.